And we're live.
So we'll go ahead and get a quick recap in for a bit of a diplomatic session that happened last time. You started out on the back of a silver dragon, flying across the land below you off to the east. You were making your way towards the Nether Mountains, where you were told a meeting of great and powerful metallic dragons was going to be happening, and you have been selected as representatives of the Council of Waterdeep to go represent them and their interests, and see if you could get these metallic dragons to ally with the Council in this war against the Cult of the Dragon. As you were on your way, you took a few days to get there, but it was far quicker than traveling over land by yourselves. But as you got closer to the mountains, moving into them, the silver dragon, Notaria Lacarnos, that you had been riding, told you that there was going to be a test, and that one of the other dragons, one named Protanther, the leader of this council of metallic dragons, wanted to meet you and test you properly before sitting at a table with you. You found yourself brought to a clearing and set down by the silver dragon. You found yourself surrounded by large and powerful metallic dragons of all the different races of them, or subspecies of them, I suppose. As you sat down, you saw the gold dragon himself, Protanther, before you, who demanded that you try to kill him, as he wanted to test your martial prowess. And try you did. You found that Protanther was not a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. It was hard to hit him, and his weakening breath sorely hurt all of you, trying to break free of that effect, along with his frightful presence, this ancient great worm of a dragon. But ultimately, the battle concluded with him being satisfied, with no major bloodshed on either side of the fight. And with that, the dragon set off to the northeast, and you boarded Otari Lacarnos once again, and made your way to the meeting point. You discovered that the meeting point was in fact a fortress. Seemed like a long-forgotten castle that these metallic dragons were using. It was grand in its architecture, seemingly combining the architecture of dwarves and elves, and probably some other species as well. But it was very impressive to see up here seated up in the top of these nether mountains. As you moved through, you saw that there were hundreds, no less than hundreds of these metallic dragons gathered at this fortress on either side of it, in these large kind of landing pads, these courtyards on either side of the fortress proper. With that, you saw the silver dragon, who you knew as Elia, but her proper name being Otario Carnos, led you inside. And you found yourself in a somewhat grand and beautiful meeting hall where a bunch of humanoid forms sat. You saw representatives, the dragons that you had seen when you had fought Protanther, now taking on a more humanoid guise to make it easier to speak and talk among each other, especially with you joining the group. With that, you sat down and basically heard their plan. Protanther explained that the metallic dragons did see the threat of the Cult of the Dragon and wanted them quashed to save not only the gold or the metallic dragons' lives, but also the other lives spread across the Sword Coast. But they had a bit of a difference compared to the means of the Council. They wanted to attack immediately, not waiting to work with the Council, and instead just lead the metallic dragons and attack the Well of Dragons directly. This was not going to go well with the Council, as they had directed you to try to get them as allies so that all of the forces could work together and fight alongside one another in this seeming war that was to come in the near future. As you explained yourselves, you saw that there was a bit of animosity from some of these dragons regarding the humanoid races of the Sword Coast. A couple of them had some long-standing grudges, as you know dragons sometimes have, being very almost ageless creatures and how long their lives continue on. You went through and heard grievances from a few of them. A couple of them seemed fine with the plan, but others wanted some compensation or some considerations from the council or from people of the Sword Coast to secure their alliance. You did your best to weigh the options, and you did know that you basically had the authority of the council at your fingertips, and that you could make these concessions on their behalf, albeit you did so hesitantly. You agreed to talk to the dwarves of the Mithril Hall into hopefully returning this long-standing armor that had been passed down for generations that unfortunately was made from the hide of a silver dragon. You also promised to get an apology for Protanther from King Melendrich or some other powerful elf for the Dracorage mythal that happened centuries ago, but was a devastating effect on all dragons, not just the chromatic or the metallic ones. And then finally, you found that there was a bit of more of a personal vendetta held, as it turned out that Rogar's rapier, the gentleman, once belonged to one of the dragons, a Tasmakella. She said that it once belonged to her horde, but was stolen by a smooth-talking dragonborn a long time ago. And though you seemed a bit wary to the validity of the story, ultimately Elia was able to confirm it with a spell called Legend Lore that described basically the happenings of this blade in the distant past, and she confirmed that it did once belong to Tasmakella. She demanded that it be returned, as it was her property, and it was only right to do so. After brief consideration, you decided that ultimately what was one blade, when put against the alliance that could be made with all of these metallic dragons being a faction in the council. So you decided to return it and give it back to Tasmakella. With that, with all of the promises made, and it seems like the alliance may go through with these metallic dragons if these considerations are followed through. You ventured back outside as the dragons all left and set off to gather more forces, seeming to stall their attack right now to wait for the council's decision on when to attack the Willow Dragons proper. As you venture back out, you found Otaria Karnos once again outside waiting for you, and she said, after Protanther produced some items that were all radiating magic, that these were awards to representatives of the Metallic Council, which you now found yourselves that you were. You received some magic items, and among those was the gentleman that Rogar had selflessly given up to Tasmakella and was being returned to him, properly this time. Not a stolen artifact any longer, but Rogar's actual property now. With that, Atari Lacarnos, it being a little bit after midday, basically asked if you wanted to go back to Waterdeep or if there was some other destination you would like to go to, and she would willingly fly you there. With that, you said that you would want to set out to the Misty Forest, as you had heard rumblings of dragon attacks, pointed ones in the Misty Forest itself, onto a member of the Council's land as King Melendrance ruled over the Misty Forest and the elf settlements there. You had been told that a singular dragon had been attacking several of these villages and destroying them, killing all of the elves within it that were unable to escape, down to the last man, woman, and child. So that is where we're going to start the session. You've flown for another day and a half or so. So basically on your second day of flying. I told you incorrectly before that the high forest is where the Misty Forest lied. I was incorrect in that. Down here to the south, where the high moor is, to the west of that, in between it and Daggerford, that little clump of trees there, that is the Misty Forest.
Oh. Well, it takes a couple days. Oh, so nice. Can we get an ancient dragon as a taxi all the time?
just a taxi, yeah. Just rent one out. Get an Uber.
Will
Uber
we be able to long rest then while we're on that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Wanted to make sure before I reset everything, because I know we might have to focus on not falling off of this dragon, but
It takes you a little time. You kind of mastered the art of sitting on Aurea Carnos's back on your way from Waterdeep to the Nether Mountains. Like I said, she's huge, gigantic, gargantuan even. It's not easy, and it's still a little bit frightening no matter how many days you spend in the air flying on her back. But after, like I said, a few days, you're able to comfortably rest and even sleep upon her back as you fly through the air. So, like I said, 2 days have passed. You left midday on the first day. Another day has passed, and now you're a little after morning at this point. As you look down, you see the great expanse of the high moor down to your south. This large swamp-like area that kind of breaks into forest here and there. But you see the forest taking over the swamp, and you recognize it as the Misty Forest by its telltale signs of a ever-present mist that hangs at all times of year all through the forest, making it somewhat enchanting to be within. But as you fly across it, flying up above it, Elia speaks to you with her telepathy, basically asking where you want to be set down. Do you want to be near the tradeway? Do you want to go to a southern or northern end? She says there are villages all throughout the Misty Forest, though she is not sure of where the village that you're being sent after precisely is located. This village called Altan.
Yeah, somewhere close to civilization, but they've had issues with the chromatic dragon, so I don't want to put your safety in jeopardy.
Okay.
Or our safety in jeopardy.
Safety in general. All right. So with that, she flies over, traversing another few hours over the Misty Forest itself, and you find yourself closer to the tradeway. You know that there's random villages, small little strongholds and such, dotting the tradeway all the way down to the south and to the north as well. With that, she lands down, seeing a few of them down below her. She kind of sets off a little bit away from a few miles from one of these villages, but a little bit closer to the Misty Forest itself, soaring back down to the ground and then setting down proper onto the ground itself, allowing all of you to, thankfully, get back down to proper land once again. With that, Elia speaks to you once again, telling you that there are a few settlements off to the east, inhabited by the elves of the Misty Forest. The tradeway holds several settlements and such. One is a few miles to the southwest that you saw while you were in the air. And that this area hasn't been accosted too much, to our knowledge, by any of the chromatic dragons working with the cult. So everyone should be safe in this area for the time being, though more attacks are certainly imminent.
Yeah, I guess hop off and just start preparing, put pack on, and kind of adjusting everything, just getting ready to head in.
Yeah, we I think we should make our way, and try and find someone of note to assist us in getting to either King Melandrax or, if he's not taking visitors still, outside, someone who can speak on his behalf.
Okay.
Pull the writ out and keep
guys.
it handy. Just in case we run into a patrol or two.
All right. So after everybody dismounts from the Silver Dragon, she tells you the information such as settlements around. And with that, she nods to you all, wishing you a safe journey, and then takes off into the sky, heading off to the northeast, you assume, either to the Nether Mountains or to join her brethren, wherever it is they may have headed off to. As you're looking around, once again, the tradeway is within sight, about a mile or so through the rolling hills to your southwest. The Misty Forest itself looms off to your east, much closer than the tradeway itself, but still within walking distance. Everybody give me investigation checks as you start looking around for people and such.
This will go well. Holy shit.
Oh, well, shit. Nobody gonna roll below 15. All right.
We're ready. The bloodlust is real.
Apparently, even Terra is paying attention.
Apparently.
Right?
All right, so almost simultaneously, as you start walking to the south a bit, following between the Tradeway and the Misty Forest itself, you start walking.
3 nat
You spend
20s.
about an hour or so doing so, just moving down, kind of scanning around. You don't see a lot of people. Every once in a while, dots off in the distance along the Tradeway, you see some caravans moving. Once again, kind of a common theme at this point. You see the caravans seem to be at the same size, if not larger, than the one that you took some time ago to the north, heading towards Waterdeep as well as other places. It seems like these caravans are moving in larger packs now for safety, with all of the trouble that seems to be happening on the Sword Coast. But after about an hour or so of your traveling and walking and scanning the forest and such, all of you spot through your various means, be it your eyes or Terra's tremor sense, you're able to see what appears to be a large direwolf standing on the edge of the forest watching you as you're walking by. And as you all kind of stop to look over towards this direwolf, not moving forward, not moving hostilely and such, just kind of inquisitively watching, it begins to pad towards you, walking slowly, its head kind of bowed down a little bit, until it gets about 15 feet away or so. As it gets about that distance away, you see the direwolf's form changing and morphing. You see the legs on his front descending back into his body as he stands upright, and you see now a man with a bit of tattered green robes across him. Definitely the attire of someone common in the woods. You see a elf before you. And as he walks up, he scans over all of you, looking with patient eyes. And with that, he calls out to you all, still about 10 feet away or so. He says, "Are you the ones with the council?"
Why is the wolf talking, and where does other legs go?
Yes, we're with a council. Which council are you asking about?
I imagine I just stepped behind Stone Skull when the wolf appeared, and now that you look back and there's an elf, just produce the writ that I have kept in hand. So we are with the Council of Waterdeep. How did you know to expect us?
With that, you see the elf kind of crossing his hands and clasping them in front of him, and he nods. He says, "I am a member of the Emerald Enclave. Delan Winterhound sent word that you may be arriving, and various scouts have been set on the edge of the Misty Forest, awaiting your arrival."
It's fortunate word spread so quickly. We're in need to see King Melandrax is immediately.
With that, you see the man nod, as I am not sure if the king has returned to the Misty Forest as of yet, since the last council was called, but we could lead you to his city if necessary. Delan did mention that during your journey you would be seeking out the village of Altand. Is that not true any longer?
It may still be true. There are words we must have with whoever would speak in King Melandrax's absence. The pieces have started moving, and that is about as much as I can say.
With that, the man nods, as well. In the absence of the king, Prince Algarthas would be the one to speak in his stead. He is currently indisposed, working with the Enclave to search out this dragon attacker upon the Misty Forest's villages. But we could see about finding him. I'm not sure if you would rather wait here or somewhere else, in the village of Altan, perhaps. And I could work with a few more of the agents to see if we could find him and bring him to you.
Perhaps visiting Altan would be wise in the interim, but the message must be delivered with utmost haste. Elven lives are at stake.
With that, you see the man's eyes kind of tense a bit as he nods, taking your words seriously. With that, he nods, says, "Very well. I can set out myself now that we have met, and see if I can find Prince Algarthus, rather, and see about sending him to the village of Altand. With that, you see him turning, and back behind him, you hadn't quite noticed it, but there's a bit of a clearing in the forest itself. You see it leading off a bit of a dirt path that's been traveled through the trees and such, though that recognizable mist of the misty forest does start hanging within a few hundred feet or so within the forest's edge. With that, the man points back to it. He says, if you follow that path for one day, and at the end of the day, you'll find a split. Take the right path from the split, and the next morning, before midday, you will arrive at the village of Altand. It is a bit of a distance away, but I'm sure you'll be able to find the way. It's not difficult to find. All of the elven villages are distinguishable by their design. You'll find a few huts and such down on the ground, but up above you will see the proper village itself built into the trees.
Acknowledge and look at Stone Skull as well. So, do you think you would be able to help navigate us through this?
Stone Skull kind of nod. I think I can find my way here.
I'll nod back at the the druid and extend my hand and said, Maximilian.
With that, the man walks up, smiling cordially to you, and holds his hand out to shake yours. And says, my name is Agre Perberos. It is a pleasure to meet the heroes I've heard so much about.
Well met. We will we'll proceed at once. You can let the prince know that we will be there as soon as we can. As soon as we can be there.
With that, Hagre nods, says, I will set off and seek out the prince immediately and bring him to the village of Altan to meet you.
With that, just kind of give him a turt nod. And just look back over the group and said, everyone ready? It seems we have a walk in front of us.
Yep.
All right.
Tara's gonna climb on Mr. Pebbles and be like, yeah, walking's no big deal.
All right. So with that, Hagre respectfully, kind of not full bows, but half bows to all of you, a sign of reverence. And then he turns, and you see his form melding once again with one bound back into the form of a dire wolf, and he takes off into the trees. And with that, you start following the path that he pointed out to you. Sitting down, as you move into it, you see that the forest grows a bit darker. There is much foliage here. Tall, massive trees surround you here and there. Their branches spanning out at least 100 feet in various directions of some of the largest trees. But you see that the path is well traveled and pretty easy to follow. No survival checks or anything are going to be needed for it, as long as you stay on the path itself. If you venture off of it, it might be a little more difficult. But with that, you travel. Everybody roll me a d20.
Ugh.
Okay. As you move forward, most of the day passes without incident. It's quaint and, peaceful here. It doesn't really reflect what you've heard about the Misty Forest, though you don't see any settlements and such along this path during about 6 hours of travel. You're well past midday at this point, heading into early evening, knowing that you still have a few more hours of travel ahead of you before night falls, and supposedly this fork in the road meets you as you travel along it. But everybody starts moving through the path. Once again, these trees surrounding you on either side of it, some growing out haphazardly along the path itself, but clear enough for you to keep continuing on. Everybody give me perception checks.
Use the people gonna die.
As you're moving forward, the sounds around you had been mostly sounds that you come to expect in the forest. You know, birds chirping, animals moving through the underbrush and stuff around you. But as you're moving forward, almost everybody, Rogar not really paying attention, but everybody else hearing something up ahead of you, to the south of where you're going as the road is winding that way at this point. You hear voices, some ways off. They sound guttural and deep, not something that you've encountered, you know, this type of voice, this guttural language that you've encountered in your travels up until now. You can't understand the words. They're muffled through the din of trees and such around you as the wind blows, this mist still hanging in the air even with the introduction of the wind. Ignalia and Max, you see two forms moving up ahead of you, kind of moving through the forest on either side of the path, and then emerging and looking towards you. These two forms, as they come into the light, albeit dim light of the forest itself, shining through the trees above you, look a bit odd. You see they're both hulking figures, close to 7 foot tall each. Massive tusks seem to sprout out from their lower lips up to their top. Black tufts of hair are tied up into top knots on the backs of their heads. And they're staring at you a bit warily, looking towards you and raising an eyebrow, and then one begins to speak out loud. Does anybody speak Orc?
Orc? No. Are you sure it's
Not
not
I.
giant?
It's definitely not giant.
Sure, it's not giant.
Absolutely.
Primordial?
Definitely not primordial.
Celestial.
Is it common? It's common, right?
Definitely not common.
Oh,
Definitely
I
not
can get your accent. It's definitely common.
It's definitely common.
So as this guttural tongue is somewhat shouted at you, you all kind of look amongst each other as this one on the left begins kind of shouting at you in this guttural tongue, and as you're glancing amongst each other, not understanding, you see him tilting his head, and he begins to speak once again, this time in common. He says, "You, lay down your weapons."
Did you hear him? No.
I put like a hand on Stone Skull's shoulder while he's laughing uncontrollably and say, look to the orcs. We will not be disarmed.
As you say that, he looks over at Stone Skull, just bursting out laughing at the absurdity of this orc's request. Looks back over at you, Max, and lowers his head a bit, a grimace crossing his lips. He says, "Then you will die, then." Everybody roll for initiative.
You will try.
I don't even know why y'all said anything. Y'all should have just attacked.
I'm sorry, I was laughing too hard from his
You gotta give
request for
them a
me to
chance
put my
back
weapon down.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, just tell me you're gonna be chuckling the whole time. You're gonna die? Oh, I'm gonna die?
Okay.
Oh, this is good.
Let's talk about that in a minute whenever you're dead, okay?
Yeah, I was like, he's like, was it you that you just point your sword? You're the one?
It was
wanted
you,
me to
right?
put this
Okay,
down?
cool. Good.
Yeah, let the one guy go first. Oh, I'm gonna go first, aren't
Yeah. Mate, what's your dex?
I?
Oh, you're at +3.
No.
Maybe, yeah, you're
But, hey,
you're
hey now.
+3 to initiative, so
All right, so as you
not
decide
dex.
that fighting is going to be a thing, you start to hear those voices once again, this time much closer as these two orcs begin moving forward, large weapons in their hands, and then you see several more moving directly down the path ahead of you. You see one orc standing in front of this other pack is much larger than the others, wielding a huge great axe in his hand, in his left hand, and then a spear in his right. As I finish opening up all my character sheets.
good. He can be my mount then.
That's phrasing.
I've already committed. It's fine.
All right. Okay.
All right. Judgment free party.
Judgment free party. All right, so as you see all of these orcs descending on there, you see this one in the front looking between the two that you now recognize as scouts, seeing them holding their weapons in an offensive stance and reading the situation as battle about to begin. With that, he lets out a bellowing cry, and the orcs begin
Thank
to
you,
move forward.
Insidious, for the follow.
This one is going to move 20, 25, 30 directly up to Stone Skull, bringing his great axe around.
Oh,
at
that
him.
is a mistake.
Oh, why is Query turned on for all these guys? That is unfortunate. Whatever.
Nope.
16 to hit misses. Slicing through the air as you just kind of casually lean back away from it, it unable to do anything to you. This one moves forward 20, 25, 30. Only one he can get to is Stone Skull also swings. Another miss.
Another miss.
This guy moves up beside this large orc, moving forward 15, 20. Hefts a javelin into his hand and launches it at Stone Skull.
Okay.
All of the attacks go against Stone Skull right now. And another miss.
Another miss.
Just Stone Skull bobbing and weaving. This guy moves forward as well. You see him with a burst of speed, springs around the side of Maximilian and swings his great axe at him.
Hold on. Oh no, hold on. I gotta check something.
Is it your ally or is it the
It's
enemy?
warding, and it's if you see a creature within 5 feet. Yes, it is on an ally. If my ally or a creature that I want is hit by that attack, I can roll a d8 and reduce the damage and use it as shielding. There's warning.
Okay.
So does that hit?
22, I think hits, Max.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we'll d8. So -6. So 16.
Alright. Yeah, that'll miss. Yeah, it's all right. So this guy running forward with a burst of speed, swinging his great axe through the air directly in front of Max. Doesn't see Stone Skull bringing up his great sword, parrying the blow with the side kind of upward slash, knocking the axe high enough into the air so Max can duck underneath it, and the attack misses.
Yeah.
And now it is Max's turn.
Yeah. That was perfect. Perfect.
Well, I'm gonna deal with this guy first.
Yeah.
I am going to take a deep breath and exhale in his face. While his
Okay.
axe is interposed in the air right above me.
He fails.
So that's 16 fire damage, and he has to make a Constitution save.
Okay.
A DC 16 as well, or be blinded.
22.
He closed his eyes. Good for him.
Yep. Closes his eyes. I'm like, oh shit, fire.
And with a kind of a chuckle and a whistle, I'm going to give Stone Skull a point of inspiration.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Anything else?
No, that was my turn.
All right. So as a deep breath is inhaled from Max, exhaled in this gout of fire, surrounding this orc who was unable to dodge in time to try to reduce some of the damage he has taken. You see his flesh is burned and now scarred over, some of it bubbling up a bit from the intense heat. He was able to shield his eyes, thankfully, but he looks real hurt all of a sudden after that gout of flame.
And I don't think anybody saw it, or I've used it since it's changed. So for like context, instead of just regular fire, it's like yellow lightning being emit from my face.
Nice.
All right. Fancy new fire breath. All right. Stone Skull.
Starting the round off with rage. And
I would like to rage.
I'd like to rage. Then bring the great sword down on the one directly to my south. And 17. Still alive?
You're not blessed.
No.
He does.
Oh yeah, the blessing. 25 still hit, or 24 still hit, probably.
Yeah, still is. Yeah.
I unchecked that. And is it still alive? 17.
Yeah,
Okay.
that hurt.
Yeah,
It's
it
still
hurt.
alive, though.
Okay. Going to do it again. Oh, I'm going to. Can I do something about that? I don't know. Yes, I can. I use my bardic inspiration to get out of that.
It's only gonna add it to it. It's still gonna be a nat 1, unfortunately.
You could nat 1 through him though.
Somehow still do damage.
You know what I
to it.
mean? Like,
I mean, you can use DM inspiration to give yourself advantage, but oh dear. Alright. Well, this fight just got interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Constitution save, please.
Okay.
Oh, God. Fuck this.
No.
I realized he was being a little cocky.
I said no.
Just, ooh. I know.
Alright, so you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage. Wait, no, sorry, 4. Sorry, 4.
Halved.
So we'll have that, so 2.
Okay.
As you lunge forward, striking with Gleam Edge, tearing a huge rend through this orc, you bring back through with a backswing. Unfortunately, there's a bit of moss and such underneath your feet. You find your foot slipping out from underneath you, and you just barely are able to twist out of the way before your head hits the ground hard. Taking a little bludgeoning damage from the impact of hitting the ground, you are now prone.
Okay. I would like to use my movement to stand.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I'm going to action surge and I'm going to attack again. Same guy. 16. I'm gonna just to make sure. 17.
Make it 17.
17 hits.
Yeah. For 19 damage.
Uh-huh.
And then turn to the other guy, swipe again, 21. Does that hit this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And 16 damage, and he is officially marked.
Okay. He's so marked that he's dead.
He's so marked he's dead. Got it.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
And Stone Skull's going to throw his arms up, kind of at his side, holding the greatsword in the air, and say, "Are you not entertained?"
All right, so Stone Skull moving forward, Gleam Edge had a little bit of a mishap, but is able to quickly recover, taking out these 2 orcs in front of him with beefy blows from Gleam Edge. It seemed like the one that he was fighting directly to his south was a bit bigger, more toughened in battle, but then the one he hit the second time, who died immediately from that strike. But the others are now moving forward as well. This guy, 20, 25, 30. Burst of Speed is going to move forward up next to Stone Skull. Seeing him as a big threat, chopping down 2 of his allies brings his great axe around. 22 to hit.
Yep.
Dealing 14 slashing damage.
So 7. Got it.
This guy, seeing you as well, 15, 20, 25, 30, takes the spot over his fallen comrade, swinging his great axe. A natural 20.
Nat 20 is going to hit.
So that will be 12 plus 9, which will be 21 points of damage.
Okay, going to Stone's Endurance, take 5 off of that. You said 29?
21.
21?
So,
okay, so 12. 12.
11.
Oh,
Yeah, you round down. Or round up.
21 halved for the resistance will do first, so halved down, so
okay.
it would be 10. And
so
then
10, and then 5 of that, so 5.
5. Yep.
5.
No.
Yep. 5. Just cleaving off, barely sinking into Stone Skull skin. But this one is moving forward and also swinging with his great axe.
Okay.
19 to hit.
Just barely.
All right. And 14, so 7.
Okay.
This guy's centering in on Stone Skull, taking mighty hits, all of them hitting. doing damage to Stone Skull, just taking the brunt of all these attacks. None of them sinking in, but still drawing blood. Rogar.
Alright, while the guy was being lit ablaze by a knife, stab him.
Okay. 18 will hit. You pierce right through his heart
Sorry, not sorry.
with 25 points of damage.
Yep, I'm good.
All right, so Rogar, this guy's still holding up his, being to scream a bit from all of the burn marks and boils across his skin. You quickly just put him out of his misery with the gentleman stabbing him through the heart. He gurgles one final time, his body kind of elongating in a quick jolting motion, and then falls to the ground, unmoving. Tara.
Hold on, I'm counting.
Okay. Don't hurt yourself.
Sorry about that.
All right. Tara's going to hop down off of Mr. Pebbles and kind of just wave her hand nonchalantly towards Stone Skull, because she's done this 1,000 times, and give him an Aegis.
On to Stone Skull.
Yes. And then she's going to kind of step up behind to get a good view. And she's going to start raising her hands to her side. And she is going to cast Wall of Stone.
Ooh.
And she is going to make it go. If I can figure out the line tool. I guess I can't. There we go. And here. And we'll stop right there. Sorry, ignore that little jut out portion.
I don't see
it.
anything.
Right click.
Right click on it.
Yep,
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So wall of stone, 6 inches thick, 10 foot.
Doing
10
it,
foot.
doing it half. So it'll have 90 HP per 10-foot section.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 to foot.
It's the second portion, so you can create it in half the size, and do it 20 feet in length.
Okay. So each, how tall are these things?
They should still be 10 feet tall. They're just half as thick.
Okay. 10 feet tall, 3 inches thick?
Yes, 3 inches thick. With 90
All
HP per 10-foot section.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm going to hold my concentration and keep my hands up.
All right. So as Tara moves forward, raising up one hand, the earth churns underneath Stone Skull as this familiar Aegis begins to surround him, rolling earth surrounding and spinning around him to protect him. She then raises her other hand, and as she does so, the earth begins to tremor and shake as these walls appear surrounding the orcs that haven't moved forward quite yet to battle, pinning them in a bit, making them a little bit easier and to hit and keep track of. This one in the back is going to begin chanting. You see it chanting in this guttural language that you don't understand. And as it does so... Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. It doesn't do that. Just kidding.
God damn it, I got it.
It is going to cast a spell. It's not going to cast that one. Because that one's...
Counterspell.
You need a counterspell? Okay.
I don't care what it is. I'm getting to use this damn spell.
Okay, so it begins to chant, sending out this energy that you see reaching out towards the group. Ignalia immediately raises her hand and counters it completely, dismissing the weave of magic that was heading towards her and her allies, dispelling it immediately. Yeah, counterspell automatically cancels it. All right.
Operation is to go, Ignalia.
That's going to be her turn. Yeah, that's it. Ignalia.
The inferno begins. All right, inside of the stone, cooking range, you could call
The
it.
kiln?
I'm gonna create a wall of fire.
Oh.
All right. Okay.
So
This
I'm
is
gonna
fine.
go with the 20-foot ring centered pretty much in the middle, so that this hold on. This dude is pretty much in the center of it, but this guy should be in range, and these two should both be fucked in a corner.
All right. So let's
Is
try to
it-
draw
Is
this.
it 20 foot
20-foot diameter.
diameter? So
That's. Gosh darn it.
it's that.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah,
20
okay.
foot diameter is that. So you'll be able to do like that.
Have it
Up one
start here and
Like
go
there?
to here. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, anyone within 10 feet of it will take immediate damage, and then if they ever end their turn there or pass through it, the damage will happen again.
And this is some serious shit here.
That's fucking teamwork. All right. So deck saves.
Decades.
Deck saves from all four of them. Does the guy in the middle have to make a deck save?
I choose what side, and I'm choosing outside, so I think
Okay,
he's just
so
going to be
he's-
freaking out in the ring of fire.
Yeah, he's just sitting in the middle of the ring of fire. All right, so 3 deck saves then. From this one. 15. Then
Fail.
this one. And this one.
All right, full
Hmm.
damage for everyone.
All right,
That's a shame,
5d8. It's a damn shame.
All right,
It is.
25 fire damage
Mm.
apiece, please.
Guys.
Okay, both these guys in the back, looking a bit different than the others, kind of hanging back as the combat started, taking some damage as the fire buffs against him, flaring up from the ground, just bursting through the ground, much as the wall of stone did. This one in the front is completely incinerated.
Just turned to dust.
I mean, imagine how horrifying that is. Giant stone walls turn around, and then just a glowy, eerie fire.
Just like, okay, we may have overestimated this fight. Okay, all right. Anything else? I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
He's dead with
I
everything
high
on fire.
five Terra as a bonus action.
Yeah, I miss.
It's like Blinken from Robin Hood. Go to high five and has no idea.
Actually, I'll do one thing. I'm gonna move slightly over here so I can keep line of sight on the mage.
All right.
And that's it.
Okay. All right. So as this wall or circle of fire bursts up, damaging everybody and making you kind of lose sight of this orc in the middle that was commanding the others. You see the one in the back left, looking at the fire, guessing his chances. He is gonna. He's gonna run through it and try to get to the other side of the wall.
Boy.
So he is gonna take off running, gonna enter it. Does he make another deck save? I don't think he does.
He makes a deck save to try to get out. Wait, which one is it? The
No,
outside?
the
He only
Oh.
does the deck save when it
Yeah.
appears.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he just takes 16 points of damage as he runs through this fire. Able to get to the other side. 25, 30. You see him, much like the others with a burst of speed, moves forward up to centering out Ignalia, seeing her cast this, moves up to her. You see him. He raises up this long sword in his hand, gripping it with just one hand while he hefts a shield and lets out this long battle cry. And as he does so, you see the 3 behind him joining in with the battle cry. All 3 of them make attacks at Stone Skull. So 3 Great Axe attacks coming out at Stone Skull first. 9, 24, and 21. So first one dealing 10, second one dealing 13, so 5 from the first one and 6 from the second.
So 1 and 2.
All right. Tara is going to crack over here and take a swing at the first one that hit him.
Okay. That'll be the one. Well, either one. You can just swing at one of them. That'll hit. Targeting one to your south or southwest?
This one.
Okay. Does it do 13 or 12?
13 in total.
Click which one you were doing again?
The one in the middle.
The middle one.
Middle. Okay. All right. So 13. All right. Okay. And as we continue on with the other guy's turn, Okay, so before he does the battle cry, he makes 2 attacks at Ignalia. So I had that ordered wrong. 2 8s unfortunately missed. Okay, so that's his turn. All right, so as this is all going on, this one running through the fire, bursting back through, trails of smoke still leaking off of his chainmail armor and shield. He brings 2 longsword swipes at Ignalia, who easily blocks them with her shield, who coos out a bit of pleasure in his voice as the attacks bounce off the shield.
Well, if the guy wouldn't have tried to run through or under the tree, he might have had a better chance.
Maybe. And then the battle cry coming out, 3 attacks coming out, 2 of them hitting Stone Skull, but then Tara blinking into existence right next to one of them brings her maul down, the silvered maul, right? Yeah, Silver Aegis maul. Down at the center one, you see crushing down, you hear bones breaking underneath your maul. This guy looks very beat up. This guy's gonna...
Panic? Is he wearing his brown pants?
He does have brown pants on. What is he gonna do?
Wise choice. Best choice made all day.
Alright, this guy's gonna move forward, running through the fire much like his brethren did. Moving up, and 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Moving around over here and then straight up with a burst of speed towards Ignalia as well.
Fire damage?
Fire damage, yes.
24.
Okay. And then he is going to let out another cry, another battle cry. Measure out, make sure I get... Okay, so everybody but that guy. And as he does so, you see the one still standing around him lift up and join him with the battle cry once again. This symbol. As you feel that they're bolstered by their seeming leader, joining him with the battle cry.
Again, good for them.
And then he makes 1 attack at Ignalia with his great axe. 20 to hit.
Nope.
All right, once again.
Tyranny does feel it, though.
Tyranny feels this one. Just, whoa, this one hits hard. And bounces off your shield once again. This guy is going to attack Tara that had just attacked him, bringing his great axe around. You see him moving...
Are you sure it's not the guy under him?
Oh, it might be.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
And then 19, the next 19 should be the guy under there too. Yeah.
Yeah. We had to shit at the top of the turn order.
Yeah.
Right. Let me remove all the dead guys real quick so I don't do that again.
Bodies.
Okay, so as we get rid of all the dead bodies, we realize that it's in fact Max's turn.
Yay! Clear the bodies out. So, first thing first. Oh, look at that.
Oh no.
Oh
You guys get to
dear.
see. Oh dear.
Oh my. There's a wall in front of you?
Oh.
There you go.
Wall right there. You know what? I'll fix that with elevation. I'm going to unfurl my wings and move up 10
Okay.
feet in the air. and then exhale a cone, catching the 3 of these orcs in front.
100% you can do that from that position, from the air. I'll allow that. All right, so 3 dex
So
save.
with like basically one big flap, taking the air, a big inhale, another flap, and then an exhale.
Okay, they all fail.
So, yeah.
All right, this one's 15 fire damage. Okay, didn't matter what he rolled, and 15. Okay.
No, he needs a Constitution save, please.
Oh, yep. 17.
Jerk.
Not blinded.
And I'm going to give another point of inspiration. I'm going to give a point of inspiration to Ignalia,
Nolly, okay.
seeing you're coming under fight, or under duress.
I didn't know it was my birthday.
And then
All right, so as Max leaps into the air with one flap of his wings, hovering up above this wall, immediately raises his head back again. You see him doing something he hasn't done before. He immediately uses his fire breath once again. As Rogar looks on a little bit jealous, spraying out this radiant-looking lightning-infused fire over these 3 orcs. You see 2 of them just piles of burned flesh underneath as the fire clears, rather. The third one looks pretty hurt, but is still standing. Body down there. All right, Stone Skull.
Stone Skull is going to lower the sword straight forward, almost like a javelin, and try to run through this guy in front of him.
Okay.
16 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay. 18 damage.
You have an orc kebab.
An orc kebab. I'm going to continue that motion all the way over to here and then throw the body off behind this guy and then immediately swipe down to the guy that's hiding in the tree.
Okay.
25.
I'll hit.
Okay. 19 damage, and he is marked.
Okay. And marked. All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. So as you find yourself fighting beneath this tree, you skewer one orc, tossing it off back behind you as you move around, flanking this guy, bringing your sword around. Once again, Gleam Edge cutting into his back, a bestial cry coming out of his mouth as you do so. He's still standing, but starting to look a little beat up as you get a good look at him now. Dead. 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 Steve.
What? The big guy in front of Natalia. I'm gonna step.
Okay. Oh, 26 will hit. Holy Jesus.
Dump
God, that's so much damage with sneak attack. God.
That's rolling. There's a 1 in there.
Yeah, there's a 1 in there. It's like only one of those, only 3 of those 66 were above average. Ugh. All right, yeah. With 35 points of damage, you once again precisely strike into this guy's heart.
I was going for this one.
Oh, the other one?
Yep.
Okay. Let me do that.
Change my ways and not kill stealing it.
All right, so 30, what did I say, 35? Okay, so he's still standing, but that is a beefy hit on him.
And disengage.
All right, so as you do so, running up to this guy, you're able to stab into his stomach, sinking the blade deep as he seems preoccupied with Ignalia, not seeing you move up behind his comrade in between them. Driving the rapier pretty deep into him. It's good damage, but this guy is huge compared to the others, well over 7 foot tall. He's still very much ready to fight. Tara.
Disengaged.
Mm-hmm.
Tara is going to swing her maul at the big guy in front of her.
Okay.
26.
Hit.
17 bludgeoning.
Okay.
Mm.
And then bonus action, Mr. Pebbles is going to step in and take a swing at him too. A 12 and a 10. Man, his attack's up.
Unfortunately, both attacks bounce off the shield. mean, he's got a +6. It's just not rolling well.
Yeah, I'm saying we're gonna have to figure out a way to infuse some magic in those mitts of his.
Anything else, Tara?
That'll on my turn.
All right, so swinging your maul down, you're able to clearly hit this guy, his back to you. Slamming down, once again, you hear bones crunch underneath the weight of your silver maul. Dealing good damage, he looks very bloodied. You try to finish the job with Mr. Pebbles, who stomps forward, bringing down both his fists, but this guy turns and looks and agilely dodges the side of one hit and then parries with the shield, knocking it away with the other attack. This one in the back, who has been mostly useless, is going to... Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, wait, so you did 35 damage. 15... Okay, so just to reiterate a little bit on what happened with Steve's turn, you stabbed into this guy and you saw him just kind of looking down at you. You did hear a bit of a cry of discomfort coming from this last orc standing back here. You see her kind of reaching down and holding her side, almost in the precise spot where you stabbed this guy. And it seems like your blade didn't fully do as much damage as you expected on this large war chief. She, still gritting her teeth in discomfort, is going to start moving forward. Yeah, because she needs... Yeah, she ends within 10 feet, right? I think that still hits her.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she's just like, oh, fuck this. Runs forward. 10, 20, 30, 40, taking 21 points of damage. You see the fire engulfing her almost completely as she moves forward, letting out a pained cry. She limps through, most of her left leg and left arm singed to the point of boiling, bubbles appearing on her arm, singeing in the flesh and cooking it. But she's still alive as she moves forward. She takes one more step forward, moving on alongside this guy, and holds out her hand.
She would have been here and moved to here, yes?
Yeah, she has to move through you, or through your attack range, so you can swing at her.
Poor Clink.
21.
Oh.
Where the hell's her AC? Oh, there it is. Yeah, that hits.
Okay. 18 damage.
All right, so she moves forward. You see her reaching out her hand as she does so, reaching up towards this orc in front of her, trying to reach him and then move up towards Ignalia. Stone Skull quickly takes the opportunity as her back turns to him to slice through with Gleam Edge. You see that you cut off her left arm as you do so. She screams in agony, still limping and straddling along very barely. Not quite dead from that attack.
Not quite dead.
Very close to it, though. And she is going to hold out her other hand and slap it onto the orc beside her as she casts a spell.
Counter spell.
What's counter spells limit? Is it fourth or lower or third or lower?
If it is
Fourth
higher
or
than
higher.
that, I still get
Okay.
to make an attempt.
All right. See, it sizzles out before she's able to. You see that healing radiant energy was extending out of her hands. Clearly a cure wound spell. Sizzles out, her hand doing nothing to mend the wounds of this guy in front of her. And she simply just moves over here, holding her arm. That is now cut off. Holding her stump, rather. Ignalia.
Kind of shaking my fist like Morpheus. No.
No.
Alright, yeah, I'm going to Flame Blade against the big guy in front of me.
Okay.
That guy.
Oh,
Your spell fizzles out and only the weapon attack hits.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm still smiting that shit.
Okay.
So, 16 slashing. $26 radiant. Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's regular, so double that.
Yeah, roll another 5d8. Calculator. 26 plus
Like,
32.
the flaming
58
blade
points
that
of
hits
damage.
him, and then she like snuffs the flame out. Like as you hit, you're like, oh yeah, like lean in it. Like no, there's no getting out of this.
All right, he's still alive.
Ooh.
All right, quicken spell. I do it again.
Oh,
wait.
please another crit.
Oh wait, never mind. Yeah. I'll quicken spell. Does 16 hit?
It does not.
Ooh. All right, I'm gonna use Bardic Inspiration though. I forgot I had.
Okay.
Does a 23 hit?
23 definitely hits.
Yes.
All right, 9 slashing. Oh wait, why didn't it? Oh, I'm sorry. Here, I'm gonna roll this so I can actually have the damage in there. So 9 slashing, 8 fire, and it'll be
Sorry. Once again, your
13.
spell fizzles out before it hits. As
she doesn't have another reaction
Oh
to
wait,
use.
no, she doesn't. Never mind. Yep, you're right. It's like she had a spell slot though.
No.
She
Oh,
does,
bad.
but
but
all right.
yay!
So
PWG,
9
thank
slashing
you
to him.
very much
8
for the
fire
sub.
to him,
Again,
13
6
fire to the dude on his
months.
left,
Much appreciated, friends.
because it's going to leap from him onto that guy.
Okay.
And I'll smite again, just a level 1
Okay.
for 9. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I taunt her with my free action.
Okay. So as you bring around 2 slashes, your first one, the flames that were surrounding it fizzle out as you see her chanting and holding a hand out. Able to stop the spell, but not stop the rest of the damage as it slashes through the sky, as well as bursts with radiant energy. You bring it around a second time. You see her frantically trying to counterspell you again, but unable to do so. As you flame blade into him, killing the one next to him as the flames leech off, slashing across him and jumping over to his ally next to him, doing massive damage to him and ending his life as he's engulfed by flames and sinks to the ground unmoving. The last guy in front of you heaves in pain, breathing heavily, drool and blood leaking out of his mouth. He's barely standing. All right.
Plenty of time to surrender now.
Yeah, right? Like, we're just sitting here like anytime you're ready.
This guy, no chance of surrendering. Holds up his great axe, reaching out and brings it around twice at Ignalia.
I'd use a reaction.
12.
Stop trying to hit me and hit me.
An 18, you got a little
No.
better, but it's not enough. All right, so 2 more attacks coming out, able to easily sidestep the first one and just glancing off of your shield with the second attack. He looks mostly spent. Max.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the best day ever.
well. With
My.
another quick flap of the wings, I'm going to move here. Or you know what? I'll just move on top. I can't because of the tree.
It's only like a 10-foot tall tree, so
Okay.
it's a small one.
I'm already 10 feet. I mean, it'd have to be a big tree. But I'm going to elevate and let these last 2 have it.
All right. Actually, no. Go ahead and describe how your flame kills both of them.
Instead of doing it like kind of then just for flavor, I imagine pursing his lips and forcing into a column and just torching the large guy and dragging it across the ground to hit the shaman.
Yeah, so you see them both just standing there, looking up as they see Maximilian flying over this tree, peering some leaves and such flying around him as he pointedly shapes his mouth into a column, spitting out another gout of flame as it just streams across the ground, engulfing the war chief and then moving across the ground, just tearing up the landscape beneath it before engulfing the shaman as well. Both of them completely succumb to the flames, falling and writhing in agony for a few moments before succumbing completely and dying.
And with this quick descent and landing down, just do a quick cough, like with a belch of fire kind of coming out. So that's a shame.
We
Oh,
didn't
sorry.
start.
I left the gas on and I put out the wall of fire.
Is Steve saying we didn't start the fire?
No, yes.
Maybe.
We are not dangerous to a red dragon.
Wait, how long has it been since I cast that stone wall?
Why do you want to leave it here?
It's a testament. Terra's mobile house of horrors.
I mean, you can leave it if you want to, I guess.
That was a nasty little 1-2 there.
That was disgusting.
I had to roll 2 6s in a row.
We've been waiting to get close enough in turn order and for me to have Lawless Stone to do that.
Oh,
Welcome to the Sorcerer's Bake Shop.
the special today is you.
All right.
I'm gonna take a moment to search over the remains.
Okay. Oh, I didn't plan for that. What would orcs have on them?
I mean, I wouldn't
Bodies.
imagine a lot. Yeah, flesh. Oh no, Tara, don't eat it. I just imagine that.
No, Tara, no,
Golly,
no.
don't-
No, Tara, no.
No,
Don't-
no, it's perfectly cooked. Just try it.
No, don't try it. Don't go down that hole.
Smells like
It
chicken.
It looks like you.
I'm not eating that.
Slap him.
I was never planning on
Hey,
eating
don't, yeah. Hey, don't eat anything that looks like you.
We just take a moment to ask the boy that Stone Skull actually disarmed one of them.
I actually did disarm one
Yeah,
of them.
disarm. Yeah, legitimately disarm something. In my 5e.
I think it's de-armed.
De-armed? Unarmed?
would work.
He's unarmed.
Unarmed.
His privileges
he
to
is
being
now.
armed are revoked.
Bad.
Temporarily suspended.
Temporarily suspended.
No, more like removed.
We've removed your rights to bear arms. Hey! Yeah.
Oh, because you hit him with a plural. Because now she just has one.
You know, it's like walked ahead 50 feet.
Dude, I was waiting after we killed like number 6 or number 7 to see if they were gonna back down. It's like no.
Okay.
Dude, I've been enjoying like this specific like the flavor of the combat because this is what it should feel like when random scrubbies roll across us at this point.
Yeah.
Like no, this is like I imagine you just chuckling like when you parried that blow that was coming to me. You just like put your greatsword backwards and catch it in the air while you're looking at the other guy.
Mhm.
Like you see that? Yeah.
See what
I got
happens? See what happens?
Like
Yeah,
that little
what happens?
slip was just you like taking a knee and then repositioning Gleam Edge and then like driving up off the ground through him, but like clean through him.
I kind of envision it like he takes his 2 swipes, and then as he does, he like brings the great sword back behind him and just knocks the axe in the air, like just nonchalant, just like swipes through and hits it.
Pink. Oh, it's fine. I got this.
Hey, when with Ignalia when she got counterspelled with the first, I imagine like slashing through in an effort to kill both of them. It doesn't work. She just like looks over and with an offhand still does the same thing, but stares like intimidatingly down at the shot. I'm like, no, boo,
No,
this is
I
going
said
down,
no.
boo." Yeah, just looking down, don't even say anything, just like incredulously, like, how dare you?
You can't cast like me. You see how fast these hands are? You can't eat this.
Kids,
You
you
don't want these
can't,
hands.
you can't, you don't want these hands. You don't want these hands.
You got them fucking Naruto Shippuden hands, son.
God damn it. All right. So as you dismiss yourselves from the orc party, searching through some loot, you don't find a whole lot. You find the weapons they had on them, several great axes, some javelins, nothing magical, unfortunately. On the shaman that was disarmed, you do find a pouch that had some spell components and such into it, but nothing really worth a lot. Some herbs and plants and things of that nature, a few eyeballs of some random creatures. Definitely seem to be a caster among this war band that you have encountered and taken care of very handedly.
Dismissed.
Yes, dismissed for sure. All in all, you find 19 gold pieces amongst all of the bodies in various pouches and such. Most of it on this large one that went down last, or almost last, in the same attack that killed the shaman. Most of the gold pieces on this war chief, but otherwise not finding a whole lot on them. Seem to be a poor orc raiding party.
Or they have a camp that we should raid.
No, that's why they were raiding. They need more stuff. Pockets are empty. They brought a whole bunch of empty bags to bring stuff back.
Yes. Havoc's definitely prepared for this.
I'm gonna take their bags.
Okay, a bunch of orc-smelling, very poorly constructed bags.
Empty burlap sacks. Or are they more like potato sacks?
You could put the bodies in the middle and
Yeah.
dismiss the walls, so the walls collapse down like a stone coffin.
They're kind of too far spaced out for that.
No, they're 10 feet tall, right? They fall over. Ooh, they'll overlap. It's a nice little cairn.
I was also curious to know why they didn't just try to climb the wall of stone.
I mean, they're orcs.
You think rationally when 10-foot walls appear on three sides of you and a giant kiln gets started in front of you.
Like, the max intelligence on any of them was 11. They're not that smart.
True. That's true.
They were just like, oh, fuck, fire. And we're like, oh, we're leaving. So, all right. So,
this whole way out, and they ran.
Yeah. They were like, yeah, it's on the other side of the fire, but we can see daylight. Let's get out of here. So, yeah, you yeah, they regretted their decision afterwards. So you find a little bit of loot on these orcs after dispatching them from this life. And decided to go ahead and continue on. You have a few more hours of light left before darkness settles over the pathway ahead of you. As you continue on for a few more hours, once again, the sun setting up above your heads, the forest takes on a bit of a, not quite nefarious, but a little bit more creepy vibe to it. The mist still hanging around you and such, making it hard to see super far ahead of you. The further you go into the misty forest itself, it seems like this mist that it is named after hangs more and more heavily. As darkness fully sets upon the land above you and around you, you see up ahead the pathway seems to split. You see a large tree set in the middle of the pathway, rising at least 100 feet in the air. Its trunk has to be dozens of feet across. You can't even see the other side from your current perspective, but you see the road, the pathway, rather, not necessarily a road, splitting off into two directions.
Which one has more orcs down it?
I don't know.
Which direction are the orcs, Havoc?
I've been eyeballing that elf king.
We're not done. We're not done with the orcs.
Guys, you have to ask him correctly. Havoc, which path does the wind come from?
The path behind you. The one surefire way you're going to find some more orcs. Go back to those bodies.
Go back to the dead bodies.
You go back to the bodies.
We're looking
They're
for a
not
living.
there.
If only y'all had a ranger or something in your party that could help with tracking.
No, that guy sucked.
It's unfortunate, really.
I still have Aaron's bow.
The broken bow.
Mm-hmm.
It got repaired, though.
So we go to
the
the
fork
right,
in the road.
correct?
Yeah.
So choices are left or right with any difference?
Wait, didn't
No.
the guy say to make a left?
That's why I asked you.
In the initial conversation?
Yeah, he did. That's why I asked you, mate, to see if you could get us through. I was hoping you'd remember it. Like,
Yeah.
outdoorsy guy.
I have a -2 to nature, so...
Oh, well, then we know the answer. The orcs are to the right.
Yeah, to the right.
Alright, so the party goes right.
More orcs!
So as you move forward, taking the right path, once again, darkness is making it very hard to see. You're able to get the ground directly ahead of you for the most part, but it's definitely a bit more difficult to keep traveling, but you certainly could do so. You know that based off the information that Hagre gave you, there's still several hours ahead of you to get to the village of Altan. Do y'all want to keep traveling or set up camp?
I mean, we're hardened adventurers. We're gonna keep on going.
Okay.
We don't need a little nap.
Yeah. During this time, this walking, could we at least get a short rest as we're walking?
Is that possible?
I mean, I ask because it's something that I allow, just because we're traveling and we don't run into anything, or if they're traveling, they don't run into anything. I didn't know if that's something you would do or not, because all we're doing is walking at that point, and it's not strenuous activity. So
Yeah.
that's why I figured I'd ask.
Well-traveled path.
Yeah.
Mr. Pebbles can carry you so you can rest.
You can take turns. String a hammock between his arms.
Yeah, sure. Well, we'll say that you can't quite get a short rest into an hour, but since you're traveling, you're able to take a load off enough and treat your wounds while you're traveling over the course of a couple hours to get a short rest in.
Okay.
You get an extra D8 from me. Ooh. Or anyone who's short resting.
Okay. For hit points?
Yep.
Okay. I get action surge back. And yeah, I'll take a hit die.
Yeah, I mean, it's free.
Yeah. Can I just roll? Do I have to still roll my hit die on that, though? To get it?
Roll mine, too.
Right, but do I have to roll a hit die for myself before I can get that?
I don't think so.
Because if not, then
any friendly creature who can hear you regain hit points. Oh no, it does. You have to.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to do that. I'm not gonna waste a hit die at this point.
Look, come on.
Fine.
You're not gonna. No, if you don't want to do it, I'll heal you.
I mean, I only needed 6 HP to be max, so.
I got the medic spell too.
Yeah, we're good. I'm max. Okay, yeah.
Nobody else got hurt, right?
Just me.
Okay.
Stone Skull got wailed on, even though it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so continuing on. Give me a second. Everybody roll me d20s again.
And I got Stone's Endurance back, too.
I win.
Yeah.
Give us the dragon.
Give us the dragon.
Give us the dragon.
Where's that dragon that's been terrorizing the village? Just drop it. We got him.
Just go ahead and put the boss here. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, bring
It's
those.
fine.
We
This is
stroll
fine.
up like
This is fine.
just dragging a dragon behind us. Like, was this the guy that was giving you all the issues? We got him. Yeah, it's cool.
Better yet, we kind of Trojan horse in him, so he's just kind of like awkwardly walking down the road.
Look at me! I'm a big scary dragon. I'll make Stone Skull pantomime the mouth and talk for it.
That'd be great.
It seems very gory.
Wait, no, you have to be in the front because you have to use your dragon's breath to make fire breath.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Princess Bride, whenever they roll on the cart and
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
All right. Everybody give me perception checks at disadvantage.
I'm always at disadvantage.
Oh, wow.
Good.
25. Max is like, what's disadvantage?
I see the things.
All right. So as you continue on, you find yourself still walking down a pathway that may or may not look familiar, but dark now. Hopefully. I think I turned everything off.
Yep.
Okay. So you continue on. Once again, this mist hanging heavily, making it really hard to see. Tara's blind sense still decently able to keep her aware of her surroundings, but unfortunately, only Max seems to notice that as you're walking forward, you start to notice that the shrubs, the foliage and such, over to your left, glance again, the shadows seem to be moving. You kind of call out for everybody to stop as you stare more intensely off to your left over to the east part of this map. And you see now, clearly, the foliage beginning to rise and fold in over itself as you see several figures coalescing in front of you.
Shambling Mound, Shambling Mound, Shambling Mound.
And roll for initiative again.
Is that what I think it is?
Maybe.
Yes, welcome to Strahd.
Okay.
A nat 18.
What?
I mean, a crit 18. I'm like, what?
How
How?
is that even?
Damien.
Plus.
Plus
Wow.
13 or what?
He has
Wow.
advantage, so he rolled a 1 and a 13, so he got the 13. It just shows
But
the
it's
1
just
in there.
Okay.
Crit fail, it's bullshit.
It's like,
What the
you do
fuck?
not have a plus 17 to initiative. That is impossible. All right.
Hitler Shrubber.
So as Max calls out that you were not alone on this pathway as these 3 mounds shambling towards you, we're going to go ahead and take our quick 5-minute break and then return to this combat.
Yeah.
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 We need to get a pet roper for situations like these.
Pet roper.
More food.
More
We'll just throw it at shambling mounts.
We
I
just
mean-
drag it around on a cart.
Maybe we can go get the more food guy and make him our pet.
Just
keep
sitting in
feeding
the back
him.
of a covered cart. You just walk it through water deep and everything, and randomly hear more food.
Literally having Tara on the back of the wagon, just throwing food out and letting the roper follow us as we're kind of traveling the path.
People were all confused, like, "What the hell?
What the
was
hell's
that?
going on? I don't understand.
I don't
Like, why'd you stay
understand
inside
it.
of town? That wouldn't be good. That would be bad. Oh no, I got wings. I'll just float over it.
It's fine.
Just out of reach, and it'll just keep like, you know?
All right,
Like
quick
a
5-minute
fish,
break. I'll be
a
right back.
fishing pole.
Yep, 5-minute break, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, it is about time. Let's jump back into our game, shall we? All right, let's do it.
Alrighty. So, you've been warned by Max that there is something here they're in the trees. Steve, you're up first.
Move up then. Yeah, move up next. Oh yeah. It's not on the ground yet, right? It's still in the tree.
No, it's on the ground. That was me making a joke.
Okay. That is it.
Okay.
Dun diddy dun.
24 will hit. Yeah,
I
we'll
don't
let you have
think,
sneak attack. I mean,
oh, yeah?
it's hard because like it doesn't really have discernible weaknesses or weak points. It's a shambling mound of grass.
I aim for the big part.
Aim for the squishy part of the grass.
Stream wanted me to remind Ruckus that we can't hear him.
Yep.
Use your outside voice.
Use your outside. Use your outdoor voice, please.
Use your Home Depot voice.
Oh,
Use
get
your
the fuck
customer
out.
service voice.
No. Customer service Damien is scary, and he's not
There
allowed
you
to
go.
be at home.
Let's see. All right,
Same
one
way I
second.
talk to babies, and also disengage.
And also disengage.
I'll just give you sneak attack. It's fine. It's better than making a ruling.
Because I've been confused this whole time. What is required for sneak attack?
Ally within 5 feet of the target, or they can't see you, or you attack with advantage. Rather, sorry.
Very good.
All right, let me fix this real quick. All right, so you're dealing 33 points of damage. Okay. All right, and then you disengage. Okay. All right, so Rogar steps forward, drawing the gentleman out from his sheath, able to quickly strike into this mound, kind of blowing away several chunks of it as he does so, dealing a good chunk of damage, but it's very much still coming at you all.
Professional streamer here. Don't mind me.
Very good. I'm going to look towards the other one down here. And I am going to cast Crown of Madness. Oh wait, no, humanoid.
that's humanoid.
I didn't see that.
Humanoid.
It fails.
Yeah, alright, ignore that. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna hold monster on the other one then.
Okay, and you're targeting this one?
Yep.
Okay. Wisdom save. Hey. They're real good at these.
No.
I bet.
Alright, all the vines seize up, kind of tighten in on themselves, and just clump down.
Alright.
Guys, it's not dead. Just whack on this one first.
Alright, so it is paralyzed. I think that's incapacitated. Among other
Yeah,
things.
paralyzed
Yeah.
includes
It
incapacitated.
does.
It automatically fails strength and dex saves.
Mhm.
You have advantage on attack rolls, and any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet of the creature.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
And I know what you're thinking, but wait until after you kill this one.
Alright.
I wanna kill
Anything
it.
else?
No, I'm good.
Alright, so Ignalia casting her hand out, beginning to chant, and as she does so, you see the vines, as Scott described, seizing up and locking into place and just freezes in place, not moving. Still very terrorizing in its appearance, but Not moving makes it all right, right? Until you see the other one appear, moving out here and then forward. You see it moving forward, 2 tendril-like arms coming out and slamming towards Stone Skull. 19 on the first one.
Hits.
And 10 on the second one.
And miss.
Alright, so the first one is going to deal 10 bludgeoning damage.
A whole 10.
Whole 10. Alright, and that's its turn. Stone Skull.
Well, he just fucked up. I'm going to rage again.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to... No, I'm going to stay right where I'm at, actually. And then I'm going to reach into my pouch and pull out the orb of Dragon's Fire and attack the one here. 18 to hit.
Okay. 18 hits.
Dealing 26 fire damage.
Alright.
And then quickly put it away, grab on the Gleam Edge, and hack down once. 18 to hit also. For 19 plus 2, so 21. And I just mark my rage. And...
are you able to attack again?
No, using an item as an action.
Yeah, you gotta make the attack action to get your extra attack.
that was an attack action.
That was a use
The
item
orb
action.
was an attack action. It's an action, right?
It's an
Yeah,
action, but it's not the attack action.
Yeah, it's
Could it
not
be
the same.
flipped?
What's the wording on extra attack? One second.
Yeah.
5e, let's see.
Here we go. I'll link it. I got it here. You can
so-
attack twice using the attack
You take the
action.
So yeah, you have to do the same attack then.
Okay. Okay, then I'll just action surge and just hack him twice.
Okay.
So 18, so 21 to hit on the first one, or 21 damage on the first. 25 hits for 18 on the second, plus the additional 15 for double attacks in a row.
Oh yeah, for your cleave.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
And he is marked. And that's my turn.
Oh. 1 second.
Yep.
Freaking clearing trees. One of them
So
scratched my nose
30.
and it itches like a sumbitch. Oh, okay. And he's marked.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as you whip out this orb, holding it forward, mastering the use of it by this point, you see a gout of flame lunging out and engulfing part of this creature. Kind of the bottom part. As the flames clear, you see that even though they're plants, it doesn't seem like the fire is able to burn as well onto this slimy, rumbling mass of vines and foliage. It doesn't seem like the fire does a whole lot to it, but Gleam Edge does as you quickly toss the orb away and then swing twice to it, able to deal a good chunk of damage, chopping off vines and other pieces of this rumbling mass. This one's not paralyzed. It is going to move towards Ignalia and attempt to slam on her. Natural 20
Ooh, that crit.
and 16.
Very good.
All right, so natural 20 will do 16 plus 14, which will be 30 points of damage.
Ooh.
Yeah, and you see the vines as they're hitting each of you. You see the vines are attempting to coil around you, but just unable to do so. And slams into Ignalia once. Max.
I have the drift globe, and I want to just hurl it up into the air, so I can get some light so I can see.
Okay. Damn it, I didn't save that.
Plus
Yeah, I
2
didn't
on
think
that.
about it. And I want to kind of make it practice, like when it becomes dark, that thing, even so other people can see. I just want it up. They can't see any other.
The other part with that was that the
we'll
item
do-
itself actually requires you to use your action to do it.
No,
So
let's not use that one. Let's use this one. And it's all players see light. What's the dimensions on the drift globe? The light.
It should
Radius?
be 20 plus 20.
Trying to find the handout for it. Oh, there it is.
If I remember it right.
I think it's 2020, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so. I'll check. I got it right here.
Yeah, it's the.
Drift globe is oh, wait, 60. Oh no, it doesn't say the distance.
It doesn't.
It does not. Here, I have it on Beyond. It does not say the distance. I'm guessing that it's gonna follow the same
light
as
stuff?
daylight or light. Yeah, light is 20 and 20. Light is 20/20. So yeah, do that. So
Daylight is 60-foot radius sphere of light.
Yeah, but you can trigger that ability. I
yeah,
figure
that's
we
a
just,
special. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 2020 then. Okay, so it's already set. You should have light now.
yeah, I don't know where it's at. It's kind of. I have it to the left.
Yeah,
I want to throw it
it's
basically over the
definitely
one that's
light.
held. You know, like out into the air. Okay. Boom.
Something like that. I'm trying to watch stream to see how it looks. Okay, yeah, so that's good. All right.
Then, basically on the drift globe, for flavor, it can emanate from the drift globe. You cast Fairy Fire.
Okay.
So it affects all three.
I think he automatically fails. So
It's
Yeah,
also
I think
gonna
he
hit
gets-
me though.
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Go for it. Deck save. You're good at this.
Yeah, and I can see it happening anyway, so I have advantage on it.
Yes.
So it's fine.
All right, so that guy fails. These guys are going to make deck saves, which they're super
15.
good at. All right, we'll fail.
What is the DC on that?
The DC is 17.
Oh, well, I failed.
You are bathed in light as well.
Yay!
All right.
Ooh, I'm glowing.
All glowy and golden
glowing.
light. What icon am I going to use for
Right.
this? Lightning bolt.
It's
Sure.
fine. It's fine. Go ahead and
All right.
let them have advantage on their attacks
And this
against
guy,
you.
for sure.
Big tanky guy,
And then
you're
seeing
fine.
that Stone's Call is illuminated, I'm going to give him a point of Bardic Inspiration.
Sorry, here, take this.
Yep.
This'll make
And
it better.
then I am going to take flight
Oh.
and
Close
move
to you.
20 feet off the ground. Just go vertical.
All right. And I do have a way of keeping track of that.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. We didn't discuss it last time.
No
so
grass
it's fine.
grab grabbing me.
All right, 20 feet off the ground. Alrighty, so as Max casts his hand forward, you see this drift globe floating out of his backpack, flying into the air, illuminating the area. In the same motion, he casts Fairy Fire centered down below the globe. It illuminates all the mounds, but also Stone Skull in this glowing gold light. And then Max begins flying through the air as he swings his sword, giving inspiration to Stone Skull. This guy's paralyzed, but gets to make another wisdom save. 2, he's still paralyzed.
He's still paralyzed.
He
All
has
right,
to make that at the end of the round, I believe.
end of the
Mhm.
turn.
Oh, it's end of his turn? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
I think. If I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
it's his turn. Should be at the end of your turn. You
Yeah,
forfeit
end of
your
the
turn
turn.
and you do it, yeah.
Gotcha.
It can only end it for the duration, which is a minute. So, yep. All right. So, Tara.
I mean, I think we know what's up.
All right, Stoney, just go ahead and continue. I gotta step away for 2 seconds. Be right back.
And I'm actually going to pull out my Orb of Fairy Dragon's Fire.
There we
I
go.
don't think a bolt's going to hit.
Mm.
You were aiming at the incapacitated one, right?
Yeah, that's the one we were supposed to be aiming at.
All right, Aegis on Stone Skull.
Should
Either
have
way,
advantage
they're
on that one, right?
either way they're glowing. You'd get advantage on the attack, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Hey, that's not much better.
What's making those
They're
attacks?
awfully large.
My Orb of Dragon's Breath.
You get to do it twice.
Advantage.
Advantage.
Oh, okay. 15 will hit, whichever one you're targeting.
This one right there.
All of them.
What is that? 5d8?
Yeah.
For 19 fire
Alright.
damage.
What kind of damage does yours do?
It's ice, I
Fire.
think. Is it fire?
We switched off with the ice. I ended up with a fire.
Oh, okay. Because I know we had 2 fire and 1 ice, so
I don't know who has the ice.
I think
ended up with fire.
Ignalia.
I have the ice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Give me something
So,
that can hurt red dragons.
Aegis on Stone Skull and then 19 fire.
Okay.
And that will end my turn. Actually, no.
Nope.
That will end my turn.
Okay, stepping away from that. All right. So once again, as this combat's going on, you cause a swirling mass of rocks to surround Stone Skull, and then use your own orb of dragon breath. Once again, sending this gout of flame at this guy who's not moving. Much like the one that Stone Skull used, the flames don't seem to do a lot, but definitely singe the target. Steve.
Step back up next to Ignalia and stab him with the rapier.
All right.
Introduce
have advantage.
to the rapier.
27 will hit. For 33 points of damage again.
Man.
Go ahead and disengage.
Okay. All right, another stab from the gentleman. Another big chunk of vines and such peeled off of this thing, but it is still standing. Ignalia.
Oh, I just reread the wording on that spell, by the way. It doesn't re-roll when it takes damage, so wail on the paralyzed one all you want.
It can't do anything.
I'm gonna move up to him, and I'm just gonna... Wait, incapacitated. Is that auto crit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Paralyzed is auto crit, yeah.
Yeah. Paralyzed is the auto crit.
Oh goodness.
Oh, that should have been an auto crit. Oh, that's melee only, right?
Yeah.
Within 5 feet.
Yeah.
Within 5 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna flame blade on him and auto crit.
Okay. As long as you hit.
You have an advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
And
advantage.
like
You just
plus
gotta hit.
7. If you miss, I will be impressed.
30.
With a 30, yes, you will hit.
Almost.
How much damage do I get if it's auto crit and a nat 20?
Auto kill.
Same.
Buckets.
It doesn't matter. Alright, so you will add your max damage, which will be another 8 on top of that. Go ahead and roll your fire damage again, which will be another 2d8.
So 28.
Yeah, so 20 slashing. 24 fire. And then I will.
Well, you don't get max
smite.
for the fire, only on the slashing. So roll the fire
Mm.
again.
Oh, okay. Huh? No, it didn't include that in the fire. Remember, it's not a. I'm confused. It's just 8 fire then.
Yeah.
Okay. But I will smite for the big smite.
I'm just waiting for the final total.
Ooh.
Okay.
So 55 radiant, 20 slashing, 8 fire, and 13 fire to the guy up here.
Alright, so 83 to the bottom guy, 13 to the top guy of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Quicken spell, do it again.
Okay.
26.
Another hit. Auto crit, so another 8 on top of that.
Yep, 16 slashing, 10 fire. 54.
Jesus. Alright. 54 plus 16 plus 10 is another 80 damage. Okay.
Alright. I finished my turn.
Alright, so finally, focusing on this creature that she has held, Ignalia swings her flaming blade twice, able to deal massive damage. You see, after the fire and the slashing and the radiant damage bursts this thing apart, there is almost nothing left of this mound. But it is still writhing and trying to break free of this paralysis. This one, outlined in light and such, but seeing Stone Skull is as well, is going to make 2 attacks at Stone Skull.
Okay.
With advantage, so 20.
Yep.
And 26.
Yep, both hit.
Alright, so you take 10 and 19, so 5 and 9.
So
for 14
and
minus whatever.
8. 1 and 8. Yeah.
And then
No.
you find yourself grappled by this creature.
No check on that?
Nope. You find yourself grappled and then sucked inside of it as it engulfs you.
Huh. I mean, weird flex, but okay.
Weird flex, but okay. Alright, so Stone Skull has 2 massive viney arms slammed down on top of him. You see him just taking the hits. But as the second one hits, you see the vines entangling around him, circling his body, and then dragging him. He starts to plant his feet into the ground, just leaving indentions as he's drug forward and then drug inside of this creature.
And I am grappled?
You are grappled. You are restrained, blinded, unable to breathe.
And I just crit failed on my reaction.
You have advantage.
You do have advantage, yeah, so 27 will hit.
Oh. I like that.
You're welcome.
Okay.
For 25.
Interesting.
Okay. Okay. Alright. So yeah, you see Stone Skull being drugged inside of, and you just quickly bring your maul around, not seeing this obviously, but feeling that Stone Skull's feet are no longer on the ground as he disappears inside this creature. Bring your maul around, able to knock some of the vines away, but this creature is very much still going, and now has your friend inside of it.
Oh no, I'm not worried.
Okay, Stone Skull.
Con save at the start of my turn. Yep. And then I'm going to break the grapple. What do you want for a check?
Is it athletics?
I would think it'd be athletics, but
You are contesting his athletics with either your acrobatics or athletics, your choice.
then I'm doing athletics.
Okay.
Oh God, really?
Oh,
Hold on, I'm going to use my bardic inspiration. I'm gonna break out.
All right, break out.
Does that put me back outside? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna look at this thing and like, yeah, that's. I don't know what else I can do. I just look at it. It looks ugly. It's pissed me off because it tried to swallow me whole. So I'm done. That's my turn. Took damage on that round, so I don't have to worry about rage, right?
Not until the end of your next turn.
Yeah, just making sure. Because I couldn't attack. Yeah, I couldn't attack, but I did take damage just before my turn, so yeah. Okay, I should be good.
Right.
Yeah, that's my turn.
All right, so you see Stone Skull fighting his way, just ripping vines away as he does so, breaking free and tumbling out and kind of in a barrel roll. Rolls back up to his feet, kind of breathing heavily and looking around a bit incredulously like, what the fuck did that thing just do to me? But is able to break free of the grapple and survive. This guy looking towards Ignalia still, slamming twice. 19's going to miss, 18's going to miss. Just not able to gain purchase on you through your armor. Max.
Drop that fairy fire.
This thing is still stunned, right? It's still held.
Still held. Yep, still paralyzed.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
So, oh man, it'll be perfect. It's paralyzed. I'm going to point the antagonist forward and dive bomb down into the held mass.
All right.
Yes.
You're just a big kid jumping in a pile of leaves.
Mhm.
Yes, I am. Oh, that hits. And then I will smite with my big spell slot.
Ooh.
Okay.
So like
Any-
like a bolt of lightning coming down from the sky.
And then also give him the damage for the sword.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your sword damage, dude.
my apologies.
My bad.
10. So 24 total.
Yeah, it's auto crit. So.
Well, I want it to explode. Because
You have accomplished your goal, sir.
It has been smited.
Leaves everywhere.
Just like, all right, you're doing
It's
this.
very
right?
unnecessary.
Pretty much. Oh, it's
I
my
got a
two.
superhero
Okay.
landing.
Tell me, how did it feel?
Oh, it felt so good. I've been waiting to do that for so long.
So
I'm
you
also
watch.
back down on the ground.
Yes, inside of that, which will put you on top.
Pile
Alright.
of leaves.
So as you streak down from the sky, all of you witness a new light source as radiant energy begins to surround Maximilian. Seemingly emanating from the tip of his blade, the antagonist. He flies straight down, impacting into this shambling mound, or what's left of it. The radiant energy explodes with the tip of his sword, making contact. Before he even hits the ground, you just hear a heavy thunk as his body hits the ground, and before even that is happening, this thing is already burst to pieces. Bits of vines and twigs and such just flying in random directions, and a small crater now being where Maximilian stands.
Hell yeah. Now does that count as the attack action? Could I attack once I land? Or, you know what? No, superhero landing, dramatic pause. I'm going to flourish the blade and create a little whistle and give Ignalia a point of inspiration.
Okay.
Thanks, Bay.
And that'll end my turn.
All right.
It's like a nod and a wink. Got you, boo.
Everybody flexing. All right, Tara.
Alright, as a bonus action, Terra is going to cast Far Step and pop into existence over... No, there's a tree in my way. Why am I stuck?
Over the tree.
And then...
It just appears at the top of the tree.
This is fine.
Get me down from here!
Mr. Pebbles!
All right.
Let me fix this real quick. Alright, that's fixed. Alright, and then she is going to twin spell cast Gaia's Fist, targeting each one of these guys. It was an 18 hit.
The first one, yes. Go ahead and cast your other one.
Oh, I gotta do one for each one?
Yeah. It's two separate rolls.
14.
They're still
27.
illuminated, so 27.
Is.
So above it.
And this is being cast at level 6.
Ooh.
Ew. Awful damage on that second one.
Yeah.
All right, so first one, left or right? Uh-oh.
Sorry, I broke my mic. Left one first, right one second.
Okay, so 35 points of damage to the first one. Second one, 20 points of damage. And they got to make some saves now, if I remember correctly. Strength saves. So left one first, right one second.
Left one
Mine
succeeds.
is 16. My DC is 16, so the first one's saved.
All right. So it's pushed a few
There's
feet
a
away
size modifier on that.
on the save, or
No, I mean on the creep. Oh, it can be doesn't prone things.
Medium or smaller goes prone. Large gets knocked back. Well, medium gets knocked back too, but they also go prone.
yeah. So the second one will not be moved backwards, but if I remember correctly, that I worded the spell. All right. The second one will be. It was moved not in its own power, so it will not draw an attack of opportunity. But it is pushed 5 feet backwards as these two large fists of earth. You see them seeming balls of earth at first, but as they're flying through the air, bits and pieces of them break off, and they clearly resemble fists before they impact into both of these mounds, blowing away chunks of their viney flesh. One of them to the southwest being moved backwards, the other one taking the hit, not moving, but both of them taking a good chunk of damage.
Oh, I forgot that was spells level sorcery points. I just spent 6 on that.
Yep.
Anything else?
That will in my turn.
All right, Steve.
Much of the same. Step up, stab.
Uh-huh. Going for the gooey bits with 35 points of damage this time.
Only 35.
With the consistent damage output, though, he's dropping 30 around. Like, that's not in the slouch at.
Nope.
Mm.
Terrible.
Yeah, and getting the ability to just move away and stuff. It's just like, yeah, it's fine. Fucking rogues. all right. Another stab in, going for the gooey bits of this guy. Dealing a good chunk of damage. This thing's starting to fall to pieces. Still very much alive, though. Ignalia. Try to change that.
Try to change that. Alright, yeah, so I'll Flame Blade against the one that is Fairy Fired.
That would be all of them.
Yep, 25 will hit.
Please don't hit me.
Hit. What?
I said, please don't hit me.
I don't know
Oh.
what to do.
Oh, Spensko, you were glowing, I'm sorry.
Alright, so 14 slashing, 8 fire.
8 fire. I will dump a moderate smite into it
Alright.
A moderate
for
spur.
21 radiant.
Okay.
Good roll on that.
Very good roll.
Yeah, right?
He's still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Mm,
Guy hasn't been assaulted too much, really. Or it wasn't until
Not too
a couple
much.
turns ago.
Screw it, okay. Quicken spell, do it again.
Alright.
30.
Mm-hmm.
11 slashing, 7 fire. Let's dump another one. 19 more.
Okay.
I flourish and bow.
Alright. So yeah, as you strike twice more, the fire licking up at this thing, not doing a whole lot, but the slashes and radiant damage definitely taking their toll as more huge chunks are torn away from this creature. Its bits and pieces are barely shambling along. This one's looking a little bit more spry, is going to move forward and... Seeing Max drawing a lot of attention, going to slam him twice. Okay. So a 18.
That will miss.
All right. So
Thank
both
you, sir.
attacks just going wide, especially with Stone Skull helping, parrying off once again with his blade. Gleam Edge knocking the first attack away from you, Max. You quickly turn back around, noticing this one was now turning its ire towards you, dodging the second blow fairly easily. Stone Skull. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So 47. Okay. All right. So 2 more quick slashes coming out of Gleam Edge, chopping off one of the legs of this creature. You see the vines regrowing quickly to catch itself before it topples over. But you just took a huge chunk of it out of it. It's looking severely damaged compared to its former glory. This one... Gonna turn towards Steve.
Rude.
Shambling forward and slamming twice at him. 25 and a 12.
Yes and a no.
All right. Yes does 11 bludgeoning damage to you.
Don't like it.
Max.
Oh, he's not swallowed up. That's good.
Nope. Seems to only
Uh,
happen if both attacks hit.
Oh, both. Well, you know what? That smiting thing seemed to work out pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the one in front of me have it.
Both attacks hit?
Boom. 5. It's awful. And I'm going to smite on both of those.
Okay.
Man,
All right.
ugh.
So as you bring the antagonist around the first time, you cut off a huge chunk of it. It turns back towards you, and as you bring the antagonist around the second time, you cleave through it and find your blade just slipping through the middle of this creature. You see it falling apart and beginning to disintegrate, its form no longer holding, and then radiant energy once again just explodes from the inside of it, sending pieces of it all over the place.
That was that wasn't the one I was fighting.
Oh, you were going for the left one?
Yeah, the one that attacked me.
Okay. All right. Let me redo the damage
Yeah,
calculation.
who's
Throwing his
kill-stealing now?
longsword 15 feet at that
I thought he
other one.
moved. Sorry.
Hey, superheroes can do whatever they want.
Wait, what is his reach?
Hey, don't worry about that.
No.
World.
I'm more meaning what was his reach?
5 feet.
Max was 20 feet in the air.
No, he was on the ground.
No.
Oh, were you?
Superhero slammed.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're-
right.
you're joking.
You're right. Sorry about that.
Okay, so redoing damage calculation. I don't know why I looked at the top right guy. 16 plus 11 is 27, plus 6 is 33. Okay. All right. Anything else?
I am going. Did I use? Oh, I'm gonna give Stone Skull another point of inspiration.
Okay.
Isn't that
Alright.
my turn?
All right. You
Might as well, right?
Dropping these guys to sub at 5 HP and leaving them there at the end of the turn. Tara.
All right. Tara's going to do much of the same. Twin spell both of them. But this
Yeah.
time at level 3. No, at level 4, sorry. Ooh, it's advantage, so it's an 11.
Yeah, you're right. Still misses, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I was imagining closer one and then that one.
So 1, 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Please don't not fail your flying stone fists, please.
So 18.
Just
And
splits it in
then
pieces.
Mr. Pebbles is up. If he can walk past this tree.
You can't use Mr. Pebbles. You used your bonus action for the twin spell.
Oh, that's right.
That'd be funny. He just slams down on somebody.
That will in my turn.
All right. So Tara sending off one fist. Unfortunately, just misses. Kind of grazing off some of these vines and then glancing off. But the second one hits this bottom one center mass, bursting it apart to nothing. And Steve finds that there is one very frail-looking enemy before him.
Comes the janitor.
For the record, I'm not kill stealing. I've stabbed him more than you guys.
Let's see. I'm put the over under. Let's see, 32 damage. Is what I'm gonna guess.
Let's see.
I'll take the over.
32
Damn.
damage. Nailed it.
Nice.
Nailed it.
Maximilian, go ahead and take a point of DM inspiration.
Yes.
Because that was cool. All right, yeah, and with the final strike of the gentleman, you find a small pulsing gooey bit inside this creature that you see very much revealed now. You circle around it with quick footsteps as it slams down next to you, and then quickly reach up and strike directly into this pulsing blob. And as you do so, it bursts into ichor all over the ground, and the entire beast just shambles and melts to the ground into regular old vines and plants.
No. Is everyone okay?
Yep.
I lay on hands myself. Yeah, now I am.
You touch yourself.
And it feels wonderful.
when I think
I'm going.
about you.
Yeah, I'm gonna collect my drift globe, kind of brush ourselves off, and realign ourselves with this path. Stupid vines.
I'm gonna make a character sheet for the freaking drift club. Whatever, it's fine. All right, so you continue on after this. Obviously, not finding anything of use inside these shambling mounds. Very interesting creatures, but obviously no match for this group. Probably should have thrown like 4 or 5 of them at you instead of 3, but oh well.
As soon as it swallows somebody, that's when the panic sets in. Well, everybody but Stone Skull.
I threw it. What was it? 2 of them at y'all, Forge, in the other game
Yep.
a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all were like level 6 or 7 at the time.
We
Those were
didn't do
fun.
too bad.
No, y'all were
It was
fine.
alright,
I mean,
yeah.
Alien got engulfed by it, which was funny.
I was like, when I got swallowed for it, I was like, okay, I get to strength save out of this. It's fine. I don't care. That was the only thing that I was. Whenever I saw that it was gonna swallow me, I was like, okay, con save, not a big deal. Strength to get out, okay, not a big deal.
Like,
Yeah,
this
we're
is
good.
fine. It's like,
This
honestly,
is fine.
not the worst thing to happen. Now, if Terra got engulfed, ooh.
I just couldn't attack, which was my
Why,
only downfall.
why would
Well,
that
actually,
be
no,
bad for me?
Terra wouldn't be bad.
With
If
Dex.
Steve got engulfed, that would have been... Well, no, actually, nobody would probably have issues.
Yeah, because you
I'd
could
probably be
dex
the
out of
worst
it.
one.
I mean, you've got a plus 40 your strength, though, and, what, plus 8 to athletics? Like,
Oh, and I get the jack of all trades thing.
I think
we're
the
alright.
best one, like, honestly, would probably be Ignalia, but they couldn't hit her to save their lives, so... No, you would have still been engulfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still +9. I'd have got out the next thing. I just rolled terribly on Terra.
All right. So going back to our regularly scheduled program. Now that your
To the right.
need for battle has been satiated.
Yeah, to the right.
I like how he thinks
You know
that
what?
satiated us.
You know what? I'm just gonna let's go off the path.
Just walk
Let's go
right
deeper
through
into the
the
woods.
forest. It's fine.
Yeah, until
Let's
that
take a
way,
long
right?
rest first.
No, let's not. Let's just keep going. Let's push the envelope. Live a little.
I'm good with an hour.
You are, not the spellcasters.
Let's yeah, we'll keep on keeping on.
All right, you sure? I mean, you can go off the path if you want to.
As much as I
I've
want
got
to.
90 other encounters I can roll for.
We step off the path, 9 dragons show up. We step right back on the path.
Is it
Never mind.
I'm not here to limit y'all. Just run the game. That's it. You do what you want. All right. So, assuming that you stay on the path, you continue on through the night. Once again, still very dark, very hard to see, but you're able to make your way through. Continue on for another couple hours. All of you feeling a bit tired at this point, only having a brief respite in between a couple battles. But you continue on nonetheless, moving forward. As you do so, you see lights in the distance. And up ahead of you, you start to see the lights. While there are a couple, appear to be torches burning up on somewhat long poles, about 6 or 7 feet tall. You see more lights up above your heads, up in the trees. As you find yourself approaching what appears to be a village, as described by Hagre.
Ooh,
Yep, pretty.
fancy. Super fancy.
One of the. That's right. He mentioned there were the tree villages, right?
Village in the trees.
So,
I
so
got
as you
wings.
move,
I got an elevator, a built-in elevator.
so as you approach, you start moving through the trees. Everybody, give me perception checks.
Perception?
Perception.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So Tara, unfortunately, does not see anything. Is kind of riding on Mr. Pebbles. Doesn't have a good line of sight even with blind sense, unfortunately. Everyone else, as you're approaching, though, you start to look off to the left and right as you see these lights up ahead of you, about 100, 200 feet ahead of you. You look off to your left and right, and you see figures moving and kind of mirroring your movements. As you stare closer, you're able to see what appears to be humanoids kind of watching you as you're moving through. And as the lights grow closer, you moving forward still, you see elves moving closer. These humanoids being elves that were watching you. As you get closer and they move up to stand before you, you see them holding spears and some ornate-looking long swords at their hips, but not really leveled at you or any kind of threatening manner. Two of them, one came from the left, one came from the right. And as you get up to them and they stand before you, kind of blocking your path, the one holding with the sword at his hip, kind of resting his hand on it, looks towards you all and says, "You are not from around here. What is your business here in Outland?"
We are sent from the Council of Neverwinter by King Malandrax himself to assist in the discovery and removal of the dragon that's been pestering you.
With that, the elf tilts his head a bit and kind of lowers his eyes, appears to be thinking for a few moments, and that he nods. He says, "We did hear word from a friend of ours that there may be some adventurers stopping by our humble village here." You see him kind of turning around, and as he does so, you start to see the light, albeit dim, coming from the torches above as well as below, illuminating some of the forest floor, and you see the forest floor has been torn asunder in places. You see ragged marks torn through the earth, as well as patches of dead foliage, almost like it was eaten through by some kind of poison or acidic substance. And as the elf turns back around to her, he says, "The Outland, unfortunately, is in a bit of a sorry state after the last attack by the dragon you speak of, but unlike the others, we were able to survive the attack. For the most part, we did lose many people, but what are my manners? Welcome to our village. Do please follow me." And with that, the elf turns around, the other one joining him as he does so, and they start to lead you towards the village.
As we're walking, I'm going to introduce myself and the group. Brief introduction, just so you know who we are.
As you do so, introducing all of you, kind of moving up to walk aside the elf instead of behind him, he turns back towards you and nods to each of you in turn. He says, "My name is Elario. I am a protector of this village, though it seems only in name. I wasn't able to protect it from the recent attacks some weeks ago, but I suppose that's neither here nor there. But please do come. It is late." You see him kind of scanning the forest, it being very dark at this point. You're encroaching upon the midnight hours at this point. He says, "Do come in. We have some rooms available for you to stay in, and you could carry out your business in the morning. I think it would be somewhat difficult to do in the night when most of our people are sleeping."
Nod in agreement. Say, thank you for being so hospitable. Despite the hour, we've traveled far to get here. So I'm sure my companions and I would enjoy a brief break before explaining the rest of our journey here.
With that, Erlario nods and leads you over, and you see him leading you towards the base of one of the large trees. Up above, you see several wooden platforms sporting lights here and there, some torches burning, as well as windows shedding light from within them. You see that there's a wooden platform down at the base of this tree, and as he steps upon it, his feet kind of clunking as he does so, the other elf joining him, resting the spear on the ground as you all join him onto it. This platform being very large, about 8 feet wide and about 6 feet deep. As you all step onto the platform, he reaches over and there's a small lever, and he flips it back down, and you all hear whirring motions of wood clicking together as this platform begins to raise and lift you up into the air towards the rooftop of the trees where all of these small abodes are. As you're doing so, he calmly looks over you all and says, "Yes, it must have been quite a travel to reach here from outside. I hope it was a pleasant one. There are word of cultist movement as well as the normal word of orc bands and such moving around the area."
We did run into an orc band on the way, but they won't be bothering you or anyone else in this forest.
As you say
I don't
that,
want to be braggadocious. I don't need to
Yeah.
bring up the mouth.
you see a bit of a smirk crossing the man's face as Elroy looks back over and kind of nods. He says, "It would be unfortunate of them to run into you if you're as strong as you appear. I'm glad that one less nuisance is out of our hair, though there is still the dragon issue. As far as I know, no word has been received about it being slain," and he kind of looks around as you start reaching the top, where you see the platform is raising up to another built-on platform around the trunk of this great tree. As it lurches to a stop at the top, the whole platform kind of bouncing a bit. Erlario turns back around and says, "Unfortunately, our people do live in fear of another attack. From what we hear, we were the only village to escape complete destruction at its hand. Though we're not sure why. It seemed like we were winning the battle when it happened, but I suppose we should thank the gods for their protection, if nothing else." And with that, he starts walking off. You see him moving across the platform over to what appears to be a bridge. You see it kind of dipping down, made of rope and tied together wooden planks that span across over towards another group of buildings. Small huts is more so what they look like, built around the trunks of these massive trees. With that, he leads you over, going across a couple of these platforms and bridges before he arrives at a somewhat larger one, larger building. You see the tree appears to be hollowed out based on what you can see through the doorway. And with that, he bows to you all and kind of holds out an outstretched arm. He says, "This is a common room, has plenty of beds for you all. Feel free to rest your tired muscles here for the night, and you are more than welcome here to investigate as need be. The people that have returned after the dragon attack, I'm sure, would be helpful for the most part. Anyone trying to protect them, as you are. I will alert the rest of the guard of the city that you are here so that you will not be accosted by them."
We appreciate it. We've also sent word to the prince to meet us here, that we were headed here. Should him or any one of his entourage show up, could you please point them in our direction?
With that, he bows his head once again in assent and says, "Any friend of Prince Algarthas, will, of course, be notified when he arrives of your presence here, and he will be directed your way."
And I said, thank you very much for your assistance in all of this. Just wish him good night.
With that, he nods, and you as well, and turns, letting you all move into this small building. Like I said, it's not a tavern size or anything like that, only about 20 feet wide or so, but with plenty of small bunks of beds that you see are made mostly out of things that can be found around the forest. You see large leaves have been melted together with some cloth to make a very intricate looking blanket over some of these beds. The mattresses appear to be filled with straw, tied in with some cloth as well as sinews from trees and such. Everything is very natural looking here, as opposed to the normal wood and metal that you see in the cities and such. But with that, you're able to find plenty of bunks. There's more than enough room for everyone inside this place, and take a long rest if needed.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm going to finally enjoy taking this armor off for a little bit.
What's armor?
Who needs armor?
Those of us with skin more sensitive than yours need to protect it.
The man
That's
with
saying something
scales
coming from a
yeah.
guy with scales.
Is there an inn somewhere close by? A tavern, something?
Not that you saw.
In the
Damn it.
war-torn treehouse. Probably not a lot of options.
Damn it. Fine. I'm just gonna sit in the room and drink quietly. Actually, oh no, I left it at the house. Damn it. Had the 3 casks of beer that we picked up. They're at the
Yep.
house.
Partook upon them when you were chilling.
Yeah.
This is what happens when we have a home. We leave stuff.
We
We
do.
forget it. Like the bear.
Yeah, like the bear. No, I was told I
Oh,
wasn't allowed to bring the bear.
I
Before he
would
takes
love,
off, can we ask him if they have a teleportation circle in the village?
I mean, you can ask if you want to.
Is there a church maybe with one? They're the ones who normally have it.
With that, Elario shakes his head and says, "We are a small, humble village here in the Misty Forest. Under King Melindresh's rule, we do not have such advanced magic here."
Where would the closest one be? Probably in Melindrax's castle or somewhere like that.
One second, homebrewing. With that, Erlario thinks for a moment, says, "There may be one where the king and the prince normally reside, in the heart of the Misty Forest. It's a place called Mathin Nalur. It's the largest city, I suppose, though the word does not compare, I guess, to places like Waterdeep or Neverwinter. There may be something of that sort there."
How far of a travel is that from here?
With that, he thinks, it's around a 10-day on foot or so.
Okay, thank you for the information. I might maybe need for escorting there at some point in the future.
With that, he nods and once again bids you all good night as he exits out of the chamber.
Yeah, Max is gonna drop his armor. Yeah, with some assistance, just to be able to relax for a second, even if it's only gonna be 12 hours. Yeah, I mean, is everybody just gonna crash out? I'm assuming.
Yeah, Tara's going to put her hand on the closest wall and follow it into a corner because she can't see and curl up and go to sleep.
And Stone Skull will probably sleep outside of the doorway of where Tara is in case she gets up and starts wandering.
Tired of you.
Yeah, no, stop. Don't walk too far.
you can join me for Bible study.
This place seems like a very dangerous place for me.
Mm-hmm. No Bibles.
Just have Mr. Pebbles carry you everywhere.
No, because Mr. Pebbles can only be commanded to go where I tell him to. And
Yeah, he doesn't know where to go.
Yeah. I would tell him to walk off the edge of this bridge right here, apparently.
How to finally get you to die. All right. So with that, you find the somewhat peaceful village here of Altand, built into the trees high above the forest floor. Yeah, it's very nice, very quiet here. You do see occasionally before falling to sleep that other elves seem to roam here and there among the trees across the wooden bridges and such, and to the different hovels here built into the trees. But nobody disturbs you, and you're all able to get a good night's rest and get a long rest in. So you awake the next morning, birds chirping, the sounds of the forest surrounding you completely as you all awake. You hear a quiet rapping on the door to this place that was closed during the night. And you hear a soft voice coming from the other side. It says, "Are you awake? Adventurers?"
I'm awake.
Yeah, greet him, kind of, groggy tones. I've been traveling for a bit, but, throat clearing, like, yes, come in.
With that, you see a younger man, not the same one, not Ilario from the night before, but a younger elf, based on his appearance and smaller stature and everything. He definitely has not hit.
Still probably 100 years old.
Yeah, hasn't quite hit a full adulthood or so with the elven terms at the very least. With that, he looks amongst you all, starting to wake up and get out of your beds and such, and he nods to you all. I have been sent to bring you all breakfast as hospitality from the village itself. With that, he turns around and you see a couple more elves moving in with these wooden bowls in their hands, moving forward and setting down the table in the middle of the room. You see various fruits and vegetables stacked into piles there. More so mounds than piles, like they're huge piles, more than all of you could eat together. Definitely a gracious bit of a feast provided you for breakfast. And with that, the young man kind of bows his head and says, "You have been told already, but you do have free roam of the village itself. Anything you need, just let us know."
So just kind of to his stature, said, young man, where can we find where the place has clearly been damaged by dragon attack? Are there rebuilding efforts or any sort of volunteer work to be done? Could you point me in the direction where that's being centered at?
With that, the man looks at you and kind of bows his head. He says, "The damage was mostly caused on the forest floor, where the dragon predominantly attacked from. Some houses." You see a bit of a dismal look crossing his face as he grimaces. Were unfortunately destroyed by the dragon's breath, but they are being mended and rebuilt as best they can. The material is not much of a concern to us. We still do mourn for the dead, unfortunately, but the rebuilding efforts are underway. We've come a long way already in the last couple of weeks, but your assistance, of course, is appreciated, but not needed. Don't trouble yourself over it.
Well, then, if you could send a message to Ilario, and we request his presence at his discretion and leisure at a location of his choice whenever he's ready.
With that, the young man bows a couple times again and says, Of course, I will fetch him immediately. Do enjoy your breakfast." And he quickly turns around and scuttles out of the room along with the other young elf that brought shutting the door back behind them.
That's a fair bit of food, but it would be a shame to to refuse such an offer.
Imagine you say that and we turn and Stone Skull's already got his face in it.
Yeah, full bacon just hanging out of his mouth, like, oh, what?
Whoop.
No meat, only fruits and vegetables.
Impalatable.
Do you guys think Abram's here? I mean, in spirit.
Abram's dead. God. And by that I mean the hidden mini boss. Right, Havoc?
Oh.
Let me kill my former character.
You already did.
Sure.
So basically wolf down. If there's no efforts needed, armor back up, and be prepared.
All right. So
Before
as
we forget, we should ask what color it is.
It's a green dragon.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
PRB changing the color. All right, so you spend a few minutes, scarfing down the food. All of it very fresh. You kind of assume that it's probably grown very nearby and was picked this morning for your breakfast. Delicious, albeit no meat, of course, only fruits and vegetables. But you're able to scarf down, getting a good meal in. Definitely a far cry from the rations that you're subject to on the road. It's a bit of a treat. After a few minutes pass, you hear another light rapping on the door, and as you turn towards it, you see already opened, and you see the elf once again that you met the night before, Elario, as he steps into the room, shutting the door behind him. He nods to all of you in turn and looks at you all and says, "Yes, you summoned me. What is it I can help you with?"
We need as much information as you can give us about the dragon that attacked you. In detail. If it left you and spared you, even though it hadn't previously, there has to be a reason why.
With that, you see Elario thinking for a moment and then moves back to leaning against the far wall away from you as he thinks, and as well, it attacked a couple of weeks ago, or a couple 10 days ago. More than half of our population did survive the attack, which I'm thankful for, but we did lose quite many from the attack. The dragon swooped down and attacked on the ground first. Nearly half of the victims in the village died during that first assault. Shortly after the dragon appeared, humans in regalia that we've been told belongs to the cult of the dragon followed in its wake, killing all of those that they found upon the ground. Our priest, Galiath, stepped in to try to lead the others in the fighting of the dragon, but this massive green dragon swallowed him whole, killing him as far as we know. He thinks for a moment. I've heard tell I was not present at the front lines of the fight. I was taking care of skirmishing on the edge against some of the cultists, but some of the survivors did claim to see a cultist riding atop the dragon. But the reports differ from person to person. Some say that the rider appeared human, while others say that the rider moved with the grace of an elf. I cannot confirm or deny either account, unfortunately.
Do you know, were there any reports of the rider wearing a mask?
With that, he thinks it didn't come up in the conversations, unfortunately, with the survivors that saw him personally.
So you are aware. Few know this, but there are those in the cult that have relics that allow them to control or at least persuade dragons to do their bidding. We fear that these worm speakers, as they're called in the cult, might be involved in this in some way.
With that, you see Ilario perking up a bit with this news and thinks, as that would explain if there was, in fact, a rider atop this dragon. Make more sense. He seems to think for a moment. He says, the troubling, or I guess the thankful thing for the attack was that it didn't last long, only a few minutes. It only lasted a short while, then the dragon and the cultists unexpectedly retreated. They also did something else, according to my reports, that was unusual. When the cultists retreated, they did not take anything of value from the village. I've heard from the other ones that were completely destroyed that after everyone was killed, the cultists took anything of value from the village itself, whereas ours was spared of that for some reason.
Kind of imagine scratching my chin a bit. That is the part that makes no sense to us either.
With that, Erlario kind of nods and says, yes, it's odd. I don't know if somehow it was appeased in its slaughter or what it was exactly. after the priest died, a man named Gollin, was the village's warden, the leader of us protectors of the village. He now leads us in the priest's stead. He may know more, I'm not sure. What I've heard is generally what I've asked around and heard from others.
We'd love to speak to him if it's possible.
With that, Erlario nods. He kind of points off to his left. 2 trees over is where Galen's study is. He's typically there, for the most part during the day, if you would like to visit him.
We shall do that post haste. Any word from the royalty?
With that, Erlario shakes his head. He says, "Not as of yet, but as soon as we hear anything, I will be sure to make sure you all know as soon as possible."
Of course. Thank you again for your time. I'm sure you have more pressing matters to attend to, so we won't hold you any longer.
With that, Erlario kind of leans up from the wall, bowing once again to all of you. Says, "Not a problem at all. I'm happy to help to see if maybe you can figure out what's going on and at the very least take care of this dragon that has caused us so much suffering, as well as others. So good luck in your investigation." And with that, he nods once again and gracefully turns and leaves the chamber.
You said this, what was it, Gallon? It's the warden?
Yes, he was the village's warden, now their leader, as it seemed the priest that died in the attack was their leader.
Okay.
Let's go say hi to Gollin.
Yeah, let's go talk to this guy.
Okay. Everybody heading out and looking for Gollin's residence?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so as you all gather your things, cleaning up the last few morsels of food, grabbing a couple of apples as you go, you make your way out. As you look around, you see that the night did not do this village justice. As you look around, you see the beauty of this place, and then you start to see that it is in fact marred in certain places. You see that the trees seemingly grow as they are naturally, and that the village is built around them and modified in such a way that it doesn't interfere with the forest as best as possible, at the very least. Over to your east, you do see the side of one of these great trees is completely marred and scarred and blackened by death, as this must have been a place where the dragon's attack had found purchase and completely destroyed the side of this tree. You see bits of carved wood hanging off of what used to be one of these hovels, much like the one you were staying in. But only pieces are left of it, unfortunately. As you look down to the ground, some 30 or 40 feet below you, you see patches here and there, once again, of this dead foliage and such, destroyed much in the same manner as the side of the tree was. As you look off to your west, however, you see a couple of trees before you, and you see another somewhat larger structure lying down there in the same direction that Erlario pointed to as the residence of Gallon. So you make your way, transcending these wooden bridge, them kind of rocking back and forth slowly beneath your feet. But make your way forward, moving up, and you see the door to this place is open, and you see another wood elf sitting at a desk inside of this place. As you step into this modest dwelling, suspended among the iron-strong boughs, you enter a bit of a cozy sitting room. You see a sim elf sitting at a desk, who immediately stands to greet you with a bit of a forced smile on his face as a raven perched in a nearby cage caws hideously at your approach. With that, the elf greets you and says, "Welcome to our village. How can I be of service?"
Master Gollin, I presume?
With that, he nods, still wearing this smile across his face. One and the same.
It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Maximilian. We're with the Council of Waterdeep. we've been sent here by King Malandrax to investigate and um, figure out a way to protect your village from further abuse from this dragon.
With that, he nods as I thank you for coming here. It seems that the attack, unfortunately, has already happened, but I do welcome the extra forces, if nothing else, while we await our king to return to these lands.
I've spoken with Ilario, who was gracious enough to give us um, a place to rest when we got in, and he spoke and gave us as much information as he had regarding the attack, but said you might be able to better fill us in on the details.
With that, Galen nods, says yes, it's Ilario is a good man, one that I've been thinking of replacing myself now that I cannot be the warden for this village, have him take over that role. But please, if you have any questions, do ask.
He said there were reports of a rider atop the dragon. Can you confirm this?
With that, Galen kind of sits back down at his desk. And as he does so, he kind of waves a hand up, a very tired look appearing in his eyes, and a bit of a dismissive gesture with his hand. He says, I did not see a rider, as others seem to have proclaimed. I think it's might be a result of the fear and chaos during the raid itself, playing tricks on people's memories.
See, battle has a way of, or even carnage has a way of distorting memories, having your eyes being played tricks on them.
That Galen nods, agreeing with you.
The odd part that seems to have all vexed is the fact that rather than continue wanton destruction, they seemingly fled.
With that, Galen nods yes. Yes, it was unusual, I suppose, based on other reports we've received. The attack did not last long enough, unfortunately, to kill many of our people, but they attacked for a few minutes and then left. Couldn't tell you why. They seem to have just taken off and left us undisturbed after the initial attack.
Galen, if I may speak plainly, did it seem like they were after something?
With that, Galen thinks for a moment and seems to be recollecting, and you see him wincing a bit, and shakes his head. I couldn't say certain either way, honestly. They may have. I don't know what they could have been seeking within this village.
I can't remember the guy. I keep saying his name and I can't remember it. The elf guy that we met, the El Rio.
Ilario.
Ilario. So I don't know why I can't remember it. Ilario mentioned that unfortunately you lost your head priest. Did that have anything to do with the timing of their retreat?
With that, Galen thinks for a moment and shrugs a shoulder. Says, Galiath did die shortly before they retreated. I was at the front lines fighting against the dragon when I saw him swallowed whole by it. I don't know, once again, if that was the reason they left, but it may make sense.
Stone Skull's just gonna speak up and say, how long have you been the warden here?
With that, Gallon thinks for a moment. Oh, a few decades, I suppose. Shortly after I ventured into adulthood, I was named warden of this village, some 40 or 50 years ago.
Is this was this dragon familiar at all to you or your people?
With that, you see Gallon kind of looking back at you and raising an eyebrow. Says, "No, we typically do not trifle with green dragons."
Even in lore, is this a dragon that you've known to exist in these woods or in these areas, even if it wouldn't normally transgress onto Elven land? Or is this a stranger to your woods?
He thinks for a moment and rolls it over in his head as you have to remember the assault was very fast. Everything happened extremely quickly. The dragon itself was, once again, a dismal look crossing his face, was terrifyingly powerful. It may have been one from our lore, one that we've known, but not one that I could name based off the attack.
Is there anything else of note? Any detail that seems out of place? Even something that, even to your trained eye, might stand out as something else that made no sense?
With that, he thinks for a few more moments and then slowly shakes his head. Says, "It seems that you were told mostly what we have by people who saw things elsewhere where I was not present. Unfortunately, many of our number were slain. The dragon attacked, as well as the cult, quickly and fiercely, and honestly, it seemed like we were all doomed to perish, much like the other villages, but for whatever reason, divine intervention or what have you, they stopped their attack abruptly and left."
Did any of the cult members fall in battle?
With that, Gallon nods. "Yes, we slayed a couple dozen of them or so."
Were any of them carrying anything of import? Any
This doesn't make
missives,
sense.
letters, directives?
With that,
What
you
happened with
see
their
him.
bodies?
This doesn't
You
make
see him
sense.
moving over and shifting into one of the drawers that he has by his side, and he pulls out a couple slips of paper, shutting the drawer, holding them out to you. He says, "There were a couple of missives, these orders that seem to have been sent down. That was all we really found. More regalia that they wore, these black and purple cloaks, tinted with green on them as well. But nothing else of value."
While he's talking, I just want to flip over through the notes he handed me.
And as you read them, you see that they're identical missives. You see that they're ordering the cult to, or ordering cult members to attack villages. You see Althand is listed as the last village on this particular list. One missive has all the other villages crossed out, whereas Althand wasn't. And you see the orders are directed by one named Nero Vane.
As I look over, I'm going to ask Galen if I can keep these.
With that, Gallon once again nods his head. "Of course. I see no reason. I have no use for them."
I'll hand them to Ignalia, again, to take a look over and to hang on to.
Are there any other individuals who we might be able to speak to that might have other information?
With that, he kind of shrugs once again, says, "There are several people who, many of the ones here in the village, survived the attack or have made their way back to the village after fleeing. You're welcome to inquire upon them as well, but Most of the information, I'm pretty assuredly, has been given up already to myself as well as the other rangers here of Altend.
We may inquire around, but I think the only other question that I have is what direction did the dragon flee when it left?
With that, he thinks for a moment and starts to shake his head. He says, honestly, I think it was to the south, but he sighs a bit heavily and shakes his head again and says, honestly, it could have been any direction. There was so much confusion and death all around us. It's hard to tell exactly.
How about the cultists? Did they arrive on foot?
With that, he nods yes.
They might be easier to track. They left on foot as well, correct?
Do what?
I said I was just asking if they left on foot as well. You know.
Yeah, nods affirmative as well.
Perhaps that's the way to start. Do you have any amongst you that is expertly skilled at tracking? I can't imagine a large group or a large force would be difficult to track. But alas, none of us spend much time in the woods, much less one is covered in mist as this.
With that, Gollin thinks for a moment and kind of starts shaking his head. He says, most of our trackers were rangers involved in the fight with the dragon itself, and many of them fell. There may be some with some adeptness to it, but I'd have to question around to see if anybody has the capability of doing so.
If we could ask you to make such an inquiry, I think that might be the best way to proceed. There's no sign that the dragon or the cult will return. But the sooner that we can make our advance on them, the sooner we can guarantee Altan's safety.
With that, Gallon nods once again and says, of course, I will have the rangers ask around, see if anyone has that capability, and get word back to you.
Kind of mulling it over and nodding again, not necessarily in satisfaction, but, more understanding. And, does anyone else have any other questions?
Nope.
No. Let's dig through the report and then perhaps come back to it.
Okay. So with that, Gowan stands up once again, kind of curtly bowing to each of you. He says, I'll have someone seek you out when the arrangements have been made. Once again, the village of Altad is yours to inquire within. Just don't cause any trouble, of course. We've had plenty of that recently. He once again has this bit of a forced smile across his face as he nods to you all and then sits back down to his desk and begins writing on a piece of parchment as you all turn to leave back into the village itself.
Just thank him for his time again and kind of usher everybody out.
All right. As you make your way back outside of Gowan's little modest dwelling back into the tree village, you look around, you see many different elves, all of them seeming to be wood elves for the most part, living here in this village. Moving to and from different places within the village, you see several more moving around the forest floor. Some seem to be standing over some of the plants, and as they do so, chanting over them. Some of them begin to regrow a bit. It seems that reconstruction in various ways is very much going on in this village as they attempt to rebuild after the attack of the Green Dragon and the cult. But you still haven't figured out much information aside from things that don't make a lot of sense as far as what happened here in the village of Altand. But with that is where we're going to end the session for the evening.
Yay! Yay!
So,
Alright.
damn it. So
Alright,
either the
gonna
dragon...
end stream. Be right back.
Alright. So either
All right, so that's going to do it for tonight's session. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. As a reminder, we are back here tomorrow for Civil War, 7:30 Eastern. Hope to see you there. That's pretty much going to do it for us, though. Let's see. Is there anybody online that I want to go say hi to? We should go say hi to Ash because she's streaming. And then, yeah. So I will see you tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern. Be here. I look forward to it. Have a good night, guys, and see you soon.